How y'all doing? It's your boy JYG live in the building. We got Al in the building. We got Heather in the building. We're so glad that you're here with us tonight. And
what's up, everybody?
What's up, people?
So, before we hit the intro, guys, I'm gonna be transparent. We do have some professionalism going on, but I gotta pull all the links together, so bear with us. But yeah, so before we get into our opener, Heather, how was your day?
It was a long day. I wish everyone would just do their fucking job. One of those days.
Too.
If everybody could do their job, it would be a whole lot more peaceful. I don't know what's wrong with people.
Right.
What about you, Alfonso? How was your day?
And my day was lovely. I love my fucking job. And
I done some more, man. Like that.
Yeah. And I love driving home in the traffic.
Me too.
So, yeah.
That's my favorite thing.
Ew, driving
awesome.
home in traffic? That's so like garbage.
We are definitely being funny.
Yes, it is.
But again, Assassin in the building, always right on time. What up, gang? What up, man?
What's up, Soda?
Let me get this for you.
There you go.
Hey, yeah, we doing it tonight. We are official now. So, since we are official, let's go ahead and do our intro. So, can I say Coco in the building? It looks like it's giving.
We got Coco / Mariah today.
I know, right?
Coco?
Leave me alone.
Let's get it.
I'm not in the mood.
Let's get it.
And I hear the bing, 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 bing. You know what I mean?
All right. Let's see. Where were we at? Which one were we at? All right. We back, everybody. Let's see. So the cancer say, "What's wrong, hell?" Oh man. We're gonna have our soundboard next week up. So I'm gonna be playing that little violin.
You better not.
Yep. This would be fire.
No.
All right, so guys, we do have a nice show for you tonight. I just want to make sure that we got all the links and stuff up. That way we can have a smooth transition. But you already know what we about to get ready to do. So we are about to get into these reactions. Oh, wow. How's it going? Well, All right. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go to the land of Instagram. Yay! Insert ding sound. Ding.
Or it could just be the air horn. One or
Yeah,
the
oh
other.
yeah. We'll just use the air horn for everything tonight, like we doing
Yep.
in the good old days. All right. Hey, can y'all hear it okay from
Yeah.
right here? That's okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah, you can still hear it. You can
All
still
right.
hear it.
It ain't gonna be as loud unless somebody throws something out. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's see. Alfonso, which date you want me to start off at?
Oh, damn.
That's a lot of them, bro. Wait, that's
Yeah.
okay. We'll just go right here. And you
Okay.
just let me know. All right. So let's go ahead and share that screen. Thank you all for watching. You can be anywhere in the world right now, but you're here with us, and we appreciate you. Hold on. We appreciate you. All right. So let's go ahead and share this
Oh, we
screen.
got somebody else checking in over here.
Who we got checking in the chat, man? We got baby Scorpio in the building. What?
What's up?
Baby Scorpio in the building. Baby Scorpio's like, all right, man. I'm gonna say hey, and then we're gonna have to go and pick it up. We're gonna have to go ahead and get it going.
Just in time.
Yep, just in time to keep
Yeah.
us on schedule. All right, so let's go here. We go here, and let's go here.
Like him.
So you
I'm
like
just not
him enough
sure.
to get pregnant by him, but you don't like him enough to be in a relationship with him?
Like, I'm working on it.
Let me repeat this for you. You like him enough to get pregnant by him, but you don't like him enough to be in a relationship with him.
Like, so, like, if I was to get pregnant, like, I wouldn't have a problem
Baby,
because it's him. Like,
baby, how old are you?
I'm 34.
Listen to me. I'm going to repeat this one more time.
Mm.
You like him enough to create a life with him, an 18-year to 21, 25-year bond, but you don't like him enough for him to be your man.
I think, so, like, I think it's because I'm, like, I had, like, that mindset, like, if I was to get pregnant, I had a child, like, and he decides he doesn't want to be involved, like, I'm okay. Like, I'll be okay.
Ma'am, listen
Yes.
to me one more time. I'm gonna just do this one more time.
Mhm.
I want you to really listen to me. You like him enough to let him come in your vagina
Mhm.
and possibly make a baby.
Wait a minute.
You like him that much,
Whoa.
but you don't like him enough to be in a relationship with him.
Jesus.
I know it sounds bad, but like,
I wish you the best, sister. You have a great day.
What?
because like I like
I cut it off. Golly. All right. Alfonso, what you got?
So he had to break that down to like the simplest terms, and she still was like wishy-washy with her answer. It's like, damn.
You know, most of the time, I would jump on somebody for this, but I'm gonna look at it from a different point of view. I actually think that having a kid in today's society is a lot easier than being shackled to somebody like marriage. I think it's the way that they view it. I think they literally see that it's different, and it is, but it's easier in today's climate to control a man with his kid than to have his ring on your finger. So that's what I think about that. And it depends on the type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
So what you got, Heather?
First off, this was some bullshit.
Oh God, of course it was.
Like, okay, come on now, guys. Like, seriously, I would rather be married to someone than sit here and have their kid.
Okay.
Like, that's just me though. I don't know, everybody's different, but the math ain't math in here.
No,
Like,
I mean, but if you think about it, it's just like what Soda Cat Hassan said. Modern womanism is an ism.
I
means
don't
a
think
state of mind.
that's okay, because if there's things about him that you don't like to be in a relationship with him, then why would you create life with him? It's not okay.
I wish that people thought about that.
I mean, you're gonna be stuck with them.
That modern woman does. No, I just happen to know what's going on. Like, I'm just looking. Do I agree with it? No, but if I'm a modern woman, right, and I have the ability to have your kid, and then after I have your kid, I can pretty much control your entire life. I can send you to jail if I want to. I can demand for more money if I want to.
Mm-hmm.
I can deny you access to your kid if I want to. I can create an enemy with your kid if I want to. Like that's a lot of power.
Fair.
It's
That's
not fair,
fair.
but it's a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I understand what you're saying.
with equal rights come
That
equal
does
left.
happen, but logically, we have to stop having these kids without.
Oh, I agree.
Like, we need stable homes when we having these kids. Everyone's in a fucking broken home.
Yeah, I agree.
We got to get it together.
You are 100% right. I'm just from my point of view of what I see. That's all. And I hope that I'm wrong, but we all know that I'm right. So we move on to the next one. Y'all like I did there. I know you did. Do we have something to go on? Let's see. Understanding their broken logic is blasphemous. Yeah, it is. But hey, can't help it. When you work where I work, don't worry about it. All right, let's go.
Oh my God. Don't even
harder than original song.
Came straight from the bottom to the top of my lifestyle. I just tell it from top to the top and just have my lifestyle. I just tell it from truth, I don't even know if you come and tell the beginning.
Times when remixes go harder than original song.
Came straight from the bottom to the top of my lifestyle. I just tell it from top to the top and just have my lifestyle. I just tell it from truth, I don't even know if you come and tell the beginning.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes. Silence, man. Yeah. So the cat assassin said for once Heather's 100% correct. I didn't say she was wrong. I just said I understand. Oh my goodness. All right. How do I get out of it? Okay, there we go. That was a good one.
Who did this?
Who did this? Who?
Who did this?
Who did this? Who did this?
Who did this? Bubba, was this you? Georgia, was this you? Jackal, was it? Yeah, that's what I fucking thought!
Which one of you did this? Who did this? Who did it?
Who ate the toy?
Oh, that's
Who made all this mess? Hugo did it.
Who did this mess? Cody, did you make this mess? Did you do that?
Who did this?
That's crazy.
The dogs snitching on each other, man.
Wow.
They know who he is. So the cat saying for that last song, he said he's down for that song. If you know, you know. We can't really go no farther than that. But he's down for that song. Don't worry about it. I got it.
Yep.
Next time they talk about birthright citizenship, remember this. I was born from slavery. It was born from slavery. Slave black people were denied birthright citizenship. After slavery ended, white Southerners passed a law to keep black people stateless. The formerly enslaved are black demanded for citizenship. Oh, dude. I wish I had went over these ahead of time because that actually leads right into your story. Like that's crazy. Mm-hmm. Oh man, that's crazy.
We'll get a little more into
yeah,
that.
We're gonna get into that. It is a tricky, slippery slope. But I think we're gonna cover it very well tonight. So let's see.
we do? Men, we win, we conquer, we dominate. Check this out. Trans woman wins Miss Maryland USA. Another win for the boys. Not only are we dominating women in women's sports, we are now dominating them in beauty pageants. What's up, proud man right here? Give me my flowers! Let's go, boys. What do we do?
Oh,
what is
wait.
this?
Whoa.
Why are we watching this?
What? Wait.
Oh man. Hey, the comments on that one are pretty damn funny.
Crazy.
Too, for real.
They said give him his flowers. Oh my god. This is crazy, dog. Yeah, let me ask you real quick. Just looking at that picture back there, would you think that was a transgender person?
Nope. Not at all.
You got that for sure on this one. I'm sorry. Shouldn't have let me drive.
Jeremy, we support the LBGT community.
I just want to type in Miss Maryland. That's all. Everybody needs to see Miss Maryland. Don't you think everybody should see Miss Maryland? I think they should. Yeah. Just let me cook. Okay? Let me cook. Miss Maryland, was it 2024? Yeah. Obviously, let's see. Images. I just want to see. Oh, okay. Winner. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Y'all ready? Here we go. So the kind of assassin said, I'd be pissed if I were a woman. Facts. I just want to know.
You're making me nervous. We got to keep this respectful. We support everybody on the platform.
We're supporting. All right. We're supporting. All right. This is
Nope.
Jeremy, you're frozen.
Oh, I didn't realize it was him. Dang it. Oh no. What's going on? I put it up on the chat.
Great. Okay. We're going to give him a few seconds to get back on.
Oh, no, he's gone. Maybe he had, I don't know, I guess he had to
log out and log back
restart his
in.
computer or something. Yeah. Are we still live?
Yeah.
So the can said Jeremy looked mesmerized by Miss Maryland. Oh.
That's funny.
I am back. Don't know how that happened.
But miss him.
And we I don't know what happened, y'all. I have no idea.
The trans woman, she broke your computer.
He took Hey,
elemental P people try to take your computer away.
I'm nervous. Now I'm a little worried. I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't like that. Yeah, I'm scared now. Y'all scared me. Let's see. All right. Hypothetically speaking, we'll put that in front of it. Doesn't this person look nice to you? Like on a serious note, like doesn't she look nice?
He looks like a woman.
Yeah. I mean, look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not being funny right now. I'm just like, look at her. Him, her, whatever.
I'm surprised those women in that competition didn't make a bigger fuss about that. Like, I'm pretty sure they all tried pretty damn hard to just get there, and then a man takes it. Like, damn.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they.
But I mean, it's this dude cooking some of these girls though. I'm not gonna lie. Y'all can lie. I'm not gonna lie about it. This woman right here, this person is cooking some real women, like for real. So shout out to the man winning things out here in these streets.
Give that man his flowers.
Yeah, give that man his flowers. Give that man his flowers. So the assassin said, I'm not reading that. I'm not reading that. But they doing too much, yeah. Said Mr. Mel and Elton girls up. Hey, for real. For real though. Because he probably was stronger than them too. So I wonder what the talent was like. Probably bench press and everything. Soda Can said he don't like it, but he literally dropped everything to look him up. Hey, don't do that. and guess what? It took over my screen. I couldn't even do nothing about it. Baby Scorpio said, looks like a man with that white shirt on. Facts. I'll give you that. I will give you that one. But it's just the same that some of y'all girls need to step your game up. I'm just saying, some of y'all look rough out here. Let's just keep the book.
Shit. Do you feel like you're a good partner?
Are you hitting on me?
Are
you hitting on me?
You're not my type.
What's your type?
Just wild, ghetto shit. Somebody just patting their head all day and just saying, where's my baby daddy? Where's my baby daddy? I'm about to bust all your windows out and I cheat on her. And then she just like, I don't know the fuck you didn't cheat on me. And she beat me up. And then I'll be in jail and I get out and I'll be like, yo, like, why you call the police on me? And she's just like, because you ain't shit, motherfucker. And then that's when I'm just like, yo, lady, chill out. And she be like, now go in there and take care of your stepson because he ain't really your son. I like that. I don't think you got that in you. You got spooky hearing it out. And you don't even know who Tupac is.
That's crazy.
Wow.
And you're in a relationship.
How you feel about that? That's Funny Marco. Shout out to Funny Marco. Yeah. My computer froze.
I like that.
My VPN started acting crazy. It said I was using a server that doesn't support like extra cameras and stuff. So I had to change my VPN. I didn't mean for it to do that. It just happened. I think y'all needed to see that though. I think that was good for everybody here on this side to just get a good long look. So, all right. Next one. All right.
Okay, Selena, so you did this video crying over the deportations of the illegals.
All my people are getting attacked. The children. I don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do.
I know what you should do. Your net worth is at $1.3 billion. And you're a U.S. citizen, so you could sponsor a migrant. I don't know, that's a crazy thought. You could sponsor a migrant. $1.3 billion. That's peanuts for you, okay? And the other thing, you could go to Mexico and create businesses in Mexico. In the video you said, my people, my people. So you could go to your people, create businesses in Mexico and give them the economic opportunity they seek, which is the primary reason they immigrate to US. So create the businesses and so they can have better lives. I mean, it's easy. So crying over it, just filming yourself and crying just kind of shows your commitment to your own ego. But I get it. That's a Hollywood thing. So that's your solution. And finally, you know, I've never seen a video of you crying over the 400,000 children who were trafficked over the border in the last 4 years. I mean, you would have a better reason to cry over that. Okay, Selena, so you did this video crying over the deportations of the illegals.
That girl apart.
Why is he going so hard on her? Like, what's the deal with that?
A lot of people came after her for that.
I don't even know who this person is.
Selena Gomez.
Really? That don't look like Selena Gomez right there.
That's her.
Y'all gotta do better.
What?
Hey, bro, boy, spitting facts.
You got to
for
do
real.
better, bro. Like, come on. But he was spitting facts though. Like when celebrity, that's why a lot of people don't really care. Like California was on fire and they were talking a lot of craziness because it's a lot of celebrities there.
Yeah.
And this is a good example of when celebrities could do more but don't. Because if your net worth is that much and you feel that way to where you can be crying on screen, then fam, nah. Do something about it. All right. Let's see.
And yesterday, she appeared on the most popular podcast among women, Call Her Daddy. Take a look.
Can we try to think of any law that gives the government the power to make a decision about a man's body? Let's just pause.
No.
Is there any law?
No.
Okay.
No.
Draft. In times of war, the government only forces men to fight and probably get killed. It's called military draft or selective service.
I like that.
I don't like that.
You don't like it? Why you don't like it? Why you don't like it? I want to know.
Embarrass her, and why the fuck is he eating a banana on stage? That's so unprofessional.
Well, first off, he wasn't really there. He edited himself in there, so he wasn't really there. I know you're getting worked up about that, but no, he's not really there.
That was a good one.
I like that.
No, we did not like that.
We love
cut the foolishness out.
Oh,
we love that. So the cat said the fact that Selena Gomez had enough time to record herself crying was wild. Facts, because she probably had to cry and then watch the video over and be like, "Yeah, that was a good cry. That was a good cry right there." So, and then the cat said, "Look up Selena Gomez now, Jeremy. She doesn't have the same hardware as Mr. Maryland, but it's worth it." I'm gonna be honest with you. If I look up Selena Gomez now and she don't beat Mr. Maryland, it's gonna be a whole problem. So I think we should just keep it moving. I don't think we want to do that, man. Like, I'll tell you what, we'll put it up on the community post and we'll make it a poll. Who looks better? Y'all want to do that? That'd be fun.
I'm not the smartest person in the room, but ladies, if you have a good man at home, suck that thing. Suck it. Suck it. Double.
What are we doing right now?
Suck it. I mean, suck it. Breakfast, suck it. Lunch, suck it. Home from work, suck it. It's a lot of dudes out here that ain't shit. If you got a good one at home, suck it. Head makes a man happy. It does. It does. I'm telling you. You just gotta suck it. Just do what I say and come back. Let me know how it go. Just do what I say. I'm not.
Man, I think the air horn ran out.
Yeah, it gave out. It was like,
oh man.
Thought.
Man, you got people out here in the internet just spitting out facts.
Yeah,
I've heard that before, so I don't know.
Man, protect this woman at all costs. So yes.
I guess it's the bare minimum. If you could do that for someone, I don't know.
I believe it is a bare minimum, but 2 or 3 times a day, yeah, make time for that if you can. It does, yeah. So yes, I look up this woman instead. You know what? TVH after hours. We're gonna look that up. We're gonna check that out. What's it called? Backstage. TVH backstage. We're gonna look that up.
Jeremy can't even think right
man. He's speaking fast, man. I felt like I was in church. The spirit came out, boy. Crazy.
A lady being denied a Lyft ride because she was too big.
Oh, that's kind of messed out. Ah.
I'm that bitch.
Without an Uber ride, apparently. So she orders an Uber, and the driver shows up in a sedan, or a sedont in this case, and sees her, and in the nicest way possible goes, oh, no thanks. So if you don't know who that is, you'd be correct. Her name is Dank Damas, which is not helping her case. You're paid, but you can't afford an Uber XL, huh? Tragic. All of this mirror technology, and it's still this hard to become self-aware? You don't even need a mirror. You have a newly cleaned window and you'd know it makes sense that you'd order a vehicle that has a tow haul button. We have the right to... We don't have the right to anything when you're an inconvenience to the world around you. Jot that down. He has the right to choose the lifespan of his shocks over your $5 Uber ride, all right? You're not a victim of fat phobia. You're a victim of food addiction. Have some accountability. Go find cardio. Merch 6 and bio. Okay, bye.
Wow.
Y'all saw.
I agree. All right, move forward.
Yep.
Guys, that was not nice.
Yeah, I heard she's suing. He said
She is literally suing Uber.
She is.
She's literally suing Uber.
Hell yeah, why not?
Would y'all like to see the video? Would you like to see the video?
Yeah, let's see it.
All right, let me pull that up. Y'all keep talking while I pull it up.
He said he's choosing the lifespan of his shocks over her $5 ride. Like,
That's not funny, but it's funny. Oh my god.
Oh damn. That was a good one though. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I like that though.
Like, come on now. How you gonna be that size and just order a small little regular Uber car? Man, you gotta get a big SUV or something. Like, dang.
She could have still fit though. He didn't have to be worried about it.
Hey, but when it's your own personal ride, come on now. I probably would have did the same thing.
Man.
Jeremy, you can't fit no one in your car. Now,
can't do
Alfonso, you could have fit her in your car.
My
In both of your cars to be
I would have been like, look, I got a truck. I got plenty of room in the back.
That's not nice.
That's what I would have said.
Oh my god! Did you see the
That's what I would have
comment?
said.
Oh my
You
god.
cannot read that.
He said, "Oh, okay, I can't read that."
We support all people.
We're going there next. We're going there next. But I do want to just go ahead and share this real quick.
Did you find it? Almost.
Is Jeremy frozen again?
Yeah. Oh, dang, is
Yeah.
he? Oh, no. That's why I asked him, did you find it? He didn't say nothing. I was like, oh, my God.
He's frozen.
Soda can with the comments tonight. Jeremy, you froze up again.
Okay, I guess we'll read the comments. You ready?
Go ahead.
Okay. Oh wait, no. Look up her. Oh wait, no. We read that one. Oh, he's gonna come up. Jeremy, my videos are funnier than that lady. And then ironic Jeremy's squeezing in. Oh, the girl.
And then you just leave the comment up like that. You could take it down.
Bro, for real. Well, let me take it off. We're gonna have to edit that stuff out. We can't.
It's all good.
Keep it on there.
Dang. Well, we got some more reactions, but
we actually got to go into topics.
Do we? Oh, it's only 3. Well.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
I'm back.
What is going on over there?
I don't know, man. I checked I will talk about it later, but I checked it. It's looking like it's fine. I hope I didn't leave like the Xbox on because it has primary Wi-Fi and direct line, so it might be what it is. Might have to send a text message real quick, get that fixed. Anyway, Thank y'all for rocking with us with the craziness. Let's see what this all about.
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What? For what? What you saying?
Yeah, I got no space in my car is small.
I can fit in this car.
No, believe me, you can.
Yes, I can.
Believe me. So, I'm sorry.
What I'm gonna do about my money?
I'm gonna cancel you. You're not gonna be charged.
So you telling me I can't get in a lift because I can't fit in your car?
Yeah, you need to order a bigger car.
What makes you think I can't fit in a car?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What makes you think I can't fit in this car?
Because the car is small.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Come on, man.
And people just making video.
I don't think that was nice.
Okay, why is it not nice?
Because that's body shaming, and we shouldn't body shame.
How's that body shaming? Let's do this. Yeah. Why is it body shaming?
Because he's telling her she can't get in the car because of her size. That's body shaming.
How?
Whoa, why are we so zoomed in?
Let's do this. Yeah.
Okay.
Why is it body shaming?
Because we don't really know why she is the size she is. It could be an eating disorder. It can be maybe she can't lose weight, like a health condition.
So thyroid or something like that?
Thyroids, or like maybe she has edema or high blood pressure, or maybe she's diabetic, she retains fluid, maybe her diet ain't proper. When you're so big, it's harder for you to work out than like the average person. So that's another issue. Like, we don't really know what caused her to be that size. Maybe she got like 10 fucking kids.
Hold on. Wait. What? Okay, so you just said if they want to exercise, it's harder for them to exercise.
Yeah,
right?
You've never seen like My 600-Pound Life or whatever on TLC?
Right. So when they exercise, they have to do certain things, and there are certain machines that are used in order to help facilitate them to exercise in some cases, right? Or they might not be able to, they might have to use lighter weights. They might have to use a special elliptical for somebody of that size. They might have to do a lot of.
We don't know why she is the size she is, so we're not gonna body shame Jeremy.
We're not diagnosing. We're saying that even when you're trying to do better, they have special things for you.
Maybe she don't have the resources she need. I don't know. Like, how big is she really? Like, how much do you think she weighs?
She says he was rich. Well, she's a rapper. She says he's rich.
Mm-hmm.
She says he's wealthy.
I don't know her.
So why she can't get an Uber XL?
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying too.
So say a lot of this sounds like self-inflicted, Heather. But even if it is self-inflicted, I'm just saying that if you want to do better,
and they have to do better. We all know that.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying even if you want to do better, they have to have special stuff. So why you think you can get in a little small car and you probably got special steps for your house? Like, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like,
she probably don't. I don't think she's really that big. She doesn't look that big. She looks like maybe she's like almost 300 pounds. Like, she can still walk, obviously.
No, she's more than 300. Way more.
Are you playing? All right.
Way more than 300.
See? Okay. Don't worry about it. Watch this.
And look, airlines charge you more if you're bigger, and they charge you for 2 seats.
So we're playing with her
extra. They charge you extra.
Why she is?
If you're just trying to save,
that's all I'm saying.
She's just trying to save $5 on an Uber ride. That's all she's trying to do.
But she's supposed to be rich.
Order the bigger ride. Order the freaking F-250, the F-250, F-350, whatever they got.
The Escalade. Because if she's a rapper, that's what the rappers ride in anyway. Right. The blacked out Escalade.
Whatever. Y'all got this.
Nah, this what you wanted.
Only in America. Well, no, that's a lie. Only in the Western world, bro. Only in the Western world where
shout out to Night Talk.
You literally get empowered to be morbidly obese, bro. Dog, have y'all seen this story going viral? about this bit. She got to weigh back a smooth 550. But she gonna win, bro. She gonna win, cause even fucking lift old woke ass has made a statement about it, bro. At Dank Demas.
There it is. There she is, Helen.
She didn't look that big in that picture you showed her first, but okay.
Mm.
All right, we can move along. We can move along. Let's leave that alone. All right, cool.
Oh,
I'm more Aubrey. We good now.
Okay, well, we need to get into these topics. Oh my God.
Yeah, we need to go ahead and do that now. All right, but what we are gonna do is we're gonna at least grab a few from. Oh man, these are wild. Okay, let's do it. All right, I'm finna do it. These are wild, y'all. This came from our viewership. So, hey, look, if you are degenerate as well, you can send us something on Instagram or on TikTok, and we will put it in the reviews, just like the one you're about to watch right now. All right. Here we go. Hold on, everybody. Finna be interesting. I promise you.
Oh, damn.
Trying to get us canceled, bro. This is crazy. I don't like this.
The 2 chicken nuggets, and then the number 1 that's going to be $22.50 at the first window.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, no problem. Or my pleasure. My pleasure. I said my pleasure. I said my pleasure, right? Fuck, dude, you gotta let me in. I said my pleasure. I said my pleasure. You can ask him. I said it. I said it. Oh, you can. I said it. I said my pleasure. I said it. I said it. I said my pleasure. So that was 2 chicken nuggets and a number 1. That's gonna be $20.55 if you just pull around to the front window.
What happened to the other guy?
So there was no other guy, but if you just pull up, your food will be ready.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right.
Damn, is it that serious over there?
I don't know. One more for this, and then we get into our topics. All right, here we go.
What are you going to tell your child when they come home from school crying because their best friend was just taken out of their classroom by an immigration agent?
Adios, muchacho.
What are you...
Whoa. All right. Yeah.
Damn.
We're going to have to screen these moving forward. Shout out to you guys. And that was the reaction. Oh, man. That's not.
It would have been safer to go with mine.
Yes. We screening these moving forward. All right. All right. We're ready. The first topic tonight is going to be on tonight's conversation. I'm pretty sure you guys know about it. You might not know about it, but it is a podcast, a really big podcast, actually. They've done really well, but they're breaking up. So, well, yeah. You out to destroy us. You might be our number 1 moderator, but you are out to destroy us. It's like you get in the brain every night trying to take over the world. Anyway, Heather, take it away.
Okay, so the breakup of tonight's conversation podcast has been a hot topic recently. The podcast, known for its engaging discussion and diverse perspectives, has faced an unexpected split among its hosts. And yes, we did say among the hosts, they're breaking up. This has left many fans shocked and curious about what led to the fallout. The Tonight's Conversation podcast, known for its engaging discussion and diverse... Wait, what the fuck? I'm reading the same thing again. Jeremy, why'd you put the same fucking thing 3 times?
Because you weren't supposed to read it verbatim. You're just supposed to skim over it. You didn't have to read it word for word.
Okay, so this podcast features a panel of Black social media personalities who come together to discuss relationship dynamics in the Black community. The main cast members include Ace, which is a motivational speaker and host. Keita Rose, beauty and fashion YouTuber. Trip, which is a poet. And Kitty Rose, which is a life coach. And Trill, which is the podcast host.
I just want to go ahead and put out for Trill that he has his own podcast, and he was just coming on as a guest. He's a Houstonian YouTuber out here. Shout out to you.
Check him out.
Bro. Yeah, you really should. I'll probably put him in the description when we chop it up. But let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is more like just a reaction thing, all right? Soda Can Assassin said, you can't have a podcast named TBH and be afraid to push the envelope. We're not afraid. It's just sometimes you try to recreate a whole different envelope. We're not monetized yet, buddy. We want to get canceled before we get started. Okay. All right.
Trying to get some kind of sponsorship.
Wait till we get some money in the bank and then we can do this. All right. So let's see what this has to offer. Huh? Here we go.
Yeah, some of us were told, quit your job. Like
we all
like
were told that.
Quit your job. Right, but so
we're all told that. Yeah,
you didn't need the money. You didn't need that. Wasn't your primary source of income. But when somebody's like, trust me, we doing this. You so yeah, like, did you all sign contracts? Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Do you understand production? Let me tell you production. Production's like, nobody's going to do anything without signing these papers. Yes, I did sign that shit.
All right, so let's talk about it right there. Basically, dude, they was messing over people. They were telling people to quit their jobs. Now, we have not quit any jobs. Not yet. And they are way beyond what we are doing. And they were telling people to quit their jobs and just come on and devote themselves 100%. So, I mean, how y'all feel about this so far? We're not
gonna. And they had to sign NDAs.
Yeah, they did.
They had to sign NDAs. Everybody. Oh no, never mind. I won't say that yet.
Okay, well, let's keep going. Alfonso, you got something?
I don't know anything about this.
Okay, fine. Hey, you know what? That's okay. That's okay. We just cover it because it's a hot button, and honestly, this is just what happens when everybody's not on the same page, and people's feelings get hurt with business. So,
and no, I didn't read them all.
I don't be signing my contracts. My husband signed them.
Okay, well, hold on. Let me check, baby.
Oh,
puppy, honey.
Christina.
March. So super duper big second VIP is $600. Well, it's $599.
But yeah, no, in real life, like we can joke and laugh and all that stuff, but what we got to talk about in our story is some real shit. And when we ready to release that, it will.
Okay, she was crying at that moment. But basically, the key details, there was some creative differences, some personal tensions. Allegedly, there was some between the co-hosts, even with them being married, some of them being married. So, and
allegedly, because no one has. Some people haven't spoke, and some people have. There hasn't been no receipts because some people were married or are married, and they shouldn't have been fucking around. But
it's funny that you say that. It's funny that you say that.
I think that the biggest issue here was that everyone wasn't getting paid the same amount, but some people were required to do more things. And depending on what city they went to, the prices were higher. Their VIPs were different. Some cities they offered like food and drinks or whatever, and in some cities they didn't. So it was just different. But people were going months without getting paid, and that's not okay. Like when you as the owner are saying how you have all this money and then you on stage talking about it too, it's kind of like, well, if you got, 40,000 to just be splurging every time, why you can't give me my 10,000, or my 5,000? Like, what's going on here? Because you making money. Because those tickets were like $200 to $600. So it's just like, come on. And then I don't feel like everyone everyone didn't bring like good shit to the podcast, you know? Like it's just too many people. It's just too much going on. And you shouldn't be sleeping with people you're trying to have business with, because that never works out.
Yeah, that's dirty. Let's see what Miss Kia had to say about this.
Hello, and thank you for watching episode 5, season 1 of Who the Fuck Did I Work For? Now, see, I would love to keep the storyline in order, but your faves keep getting on lives, forcing people to be uncomfortable and look at them and talking about some shit that don't even matter. So I thought to react to the live. I have to watch it here because I'm blocked.
Numbers don't lie, sir. You right. You don't know them. You don't know the numbers. You ain't did the education, Slay. You ain't did the education, Slay. You ain't did the education. You don't know the numbers. Matter of fact, I do. You ain't did the education. You guys, like, I love y'all, man. And honestly, I hope at some point in your life, and a lot of you guys are there.
Look at Mandy.
Some point in your life,
y'all don't know
you
the
get
numbers.
to the point where, you know, excluding the people that are already there.
Right? I didn't follow her today.
But when you get to the point where you're
oh, no, thank you. Stay
organizing a national tour.
Why does this sound like some Heather energy though? Like if we like crossed her, like she would do the exact same thing.
Actually, I would want y'all to be successful without me. It's a difference.
So you wouldn't do this?
Mm-mm. I might be mad and not talk to y'all no more, but I'm not gonna air y'all business out. That's not fair.
Okay. Even if you put in time and effort and you quit your job as a radio host,
I would just be mad. I wouldn't fuck with y'all. You already know how I do when I get mad.
No,
it ain't you.
Self-funded
from money you stole.
Self-promoted.
Using our pixels.
Do you think Alfonso would do it?
Nah, I think Alfonso's too chill. He'll probably be like, "Man, fuck y'all."
I don't know. I think Alfonso pull up on us.
I think that if we had any issue, it would be like.
I think Alfonso would definitely pull up.
I think there's one person that would spaz out just because behind doors we know that one person spazzes out all the time. So.
You know what I'm saying?
You know,
Yikes.
You'll have a better perspective.
Then give us that perspective.
There's promoters all over the country that'll listen to me talk and understand everything that I'm saying.
We understand you. We just don't believe you.
I'm not trying to go back and forth.
So let's get to one of the ways he had me messed up. He likes to show the P&L sheet. Everybody was talking about the P&L sheet. You know, Kitty was like, I saw the P&L.
What's the P&L sheet? Alfonso, go.
The P&L sheet is the personal and love sheet.
Okay.
I don't know.
Like, which number am I on this list? He gonna love me today.
Correct.
We've all got sent P&L sheets. They don't have any information on them, and they're doctored because guess who creates the P&L sheets? Okay. We've never gotten any information on how much the tour, the app.
No, Alfonso's description about it, and then she tells how he actually wrote it out, makes it sound crazy. Like we don't know who it is gonna be. He just picked what he wanted to be. Why can't you get there with this person over and over again?
The clips, the YouTube, the anything have ever made. We've never gotten information on it. The only time we can piece information together is when he's bragging. I got big money. I wipe my ass with 50,000. I make
didn't Heather just say that?
$500,000 a weekend. That's the only time we can kind of say.
Gotta be true. If she's saying that he was there, and, you know, our correspondent did the excellent research and found out the same thing. So I'm gonna call that factual.
Hey, because I remember something wasn't right with my money though. And speaking of that, let's talk about it. So
nope, we're not gonna talk about it. If y'all want to figure the rest of that out, please get on Miss Kia Rose's YouTube channel because she's come on over and she's putting some stuff on there. She's spilling all the tea on there.
Or on TikTok. She was talking about it on TikTok. That's how I found out about it.
But she has 310,000 subscribers. So
I think that it's really fucked up that the podcast is owned by a Black man and you had all Black hosts on there, and yet you couldn't take care of your people. That's unacceptable. You should have taken care of your people everyone should have known what those amounts are. And that's with anything, when you do business with someone and you agree to that, those things have to be shared because problems start. And it's way too many people there to control the fire, basically.
I agree. Alfonso?
Yeah, sounds about right. I agree with everything on that.
Okay. All right, guys. We are running very short on time. We want to get to the other topics. So, guys, y'all want to just do a general sweep over the other topics and then give them more in detail later, or do y'all just want to rock and see how far we're going? Also, thanks to the 15 of you guys rocking with us right now. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but you're with us, and we appreciate you. We just try to make sure that we don't hold you too long every night because this is in the middle of the week. So, guys, y'all want to just do a quick little overview on the other ones?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. And y'all just let me know in the back chat if y'all want to do something different. But anyway, all right. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is Tabitha Brown, and Al Sharpton. All right. Pretty much we're going to be navigating the DEI road blocks and the community support. So if you're not too familiar with what DEIs are, they say it's essential for creating a more inclusive and equitable workplace, which means they're giving opportunities for people that wouldn't normally get it. It's not just saying, oh, we need the black guy, we need the white guy, the white woman, the black woman. So, but what we're going to talk about is what happens when it goes wrong. So if you don't know who Tabitha Brown is, she's actually going to break her silence on the Target boycott. So first off, how many of y'all know that Target was even having a boycott?
Did not know.
Yeah. And the reason why is because they rolled back their DEI, which means the Trump administration pretty much said, hey, you ain't got to do that. So guess what? Target said, oh, great. We ain't got to do that. So they started pulling people out. So, and a lot of people started protesting. One person in particular was Al Sharpton. And Al Sharpton also was doing a boycott where he handed out some money. Let's see. What did he hand out? I think he handed out like $25 gift certificates for them to go and buy in at Costco. It was Al Sharpton's buy-in at Costco. Pretty much he gave out some shopping cards for people to go and buy at Costco. So now for me, that seems like a plant. We don't got enough time to get into that, but what we are going to do is at least let you hear what Tabitha Brown says, and then we're going to react on that, and then we're going to go to the next one. So let's go ahead and get that squared up. And if you don't know about this, then let's just, learn about it together. So let's see, where is it? Here we go. All right.
Is encouraging shoppers to boycott Target after the mega retailer scaled back its program for diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI. LA Urban Policy Roundtable President Earl Ofari Hutchinson is calling for a 24-hour shop-out boycott of Target over its DEI announcement. Retailer is ending a 5-year program meant to help Black employees build meaningful careers and improve the experience of Black shoppers. Target also says it won't renew the DEI goals it normally sets every 3 years. The move follows the Trump administration's efforts to end federal DEI programs. And although Target's move is facing plenty of backlash on social media, one creator is pushing for a more nuanced view.
This is her.
Tabitha Brown, who has millions of followers across social media platforms, says that a boycott could affect the progress made by Black-owned brands to get their products on Target shelves.
If we all decide to boycott and be like, no, we not.
Why did they have a random video of her just eating grapes before they actually played the video?
Right.
Was that the only one that noticed that? Y'all gotta do better, KTLA.
spending no money at these organizations. Listen, I get it. And if that's how you feel, honey, I 1000% get it. But so many of us will be affected, and our sales will drop, our business will be hurt.
Brown says her brand is under contract with Target for another year and plans to reassess her involvement when it ends. Some other major companies, including Target's rival Costco, Apple, and JP Morgan, say they have no plans to end their DEI programs.
All right, let's talk about this for a second, really quickly. So, what is this anyway? What is DEI and all that good stuff? What is the opposing viewpoint? So, for those who support it, they argue that it's essential in order to address social, historical, and systematic inequalities, promote diversity, in other words. Let's see. They also say it's enhancing innovation and creativity. Supporters that believe that diverse teams bring a variety of perspective and ideas, leading to greater innovation and creativity. For instance, a tech company might find that a diverse team is better in developing products that cater to a broader audience and also improving organizational performance. They feel that having these type of people that are different, come from different walks of life, is actually going to improve the performance of the overall thing. The opposition, however, they argue that these initiatives can lead to reverse discrimination and undermine mediocrity. Do we know what that means? Okay, great. So what that means is that people who just show up to work, but because they're a certain skin tone, they get the advantage. It makes people
that already happens in America. Like,
okay. Okay, the opposition say they believe in hiring promotions to be based solely on the individual qualifications and performance without consideration of race, gender, or other demographic factors. Do y'all believe with that or no?
Yes, but that's not how things play out in real life.
Okay, so what side are you for? Are you for DEI hires or against DEI hires?
I feel that it's important for us to be diverse and have people from different walks of life to make things better, because everyone has a different point of view. And if we could just get people in the same room and they have basically the same goal to be successful or make something work, then it'll work. You know, you need different pair of eyes on things to come up with the best solution. That's how you make things better.
What about you, Alfonso? How you feel about it? For or against it?
I mean, for the most part, I'm for it. I mean, hiring like different people from different walks of life. Mm-hmm. It helps, you know, when I guess like the work environment and all. But man, that's about it, I guess. But
I actually feel like DEI hiring is a problem. I don't.
Why would you say that?
I'm about to tell you. I don't want to be picked to be somewhere and do something just because I'm a black man. I want to be picked because I'm the best one. I want to prove that I'm the best one. I don't want to be given something just based upon what I look like. That makes sense?
But what you fail to realize is that even now, like, that's still a problem. Like, people are still going to pick people because of their skin tone.
But true, but that doesn't mean that you have to be protected by a law that force you to do it, because it could be reverse racism, or like division and resentment can be made by that, because some employees might.
DEI is supposed to help, like, how do I word this? It's supposed to help. Yeah, it's supposed to help with diversity. So it means that everyone has that chance.
What if I want the best person for the job, and if it happens to be a whole bunch of men on the garbage truck, opposed to diversity hiring and have women there?
Let me tell you something. I don't really want to use the example that I want to use, because it's probably not the most appropriate right now. But for instance, some jobs are driven by men. There's only men that are successful in that area, in those departments.
Mm-hmm.
It's rare that you will see a woman, and when a woman tries, they tell a woman she's not qualified, whether she's been there and with that company for a long time or not. And in some areas, like banks, you see mostly women. There are some men, but it's mostly women. So it just depends. Like, honestly, it just depends. And I'm not playing the race card here, but the reality of this is that I'm not saying that. Never mind. I'm not saying that. I'm not gonna say that.
All right.
I gotta stop. I
will say this
said
too.
too much, so I'm just gonna stop right there. But
I'll
you
say
know
something.
you know what I'm saying, because we've had a conversation like this before, and I done said this shit. Like, it's unfair because I feel like we need diversity in the workplace. We do, but I feel like when it comes to higher power positions at a job, we don't look at diversity the way we should. Like, it's either mostly men or it's mostly women. And most jobs in America, it's mostly men. And it's not fair. So, that's all I'm going to say.
Alfonso, you got anything?
Depends on the field where it's mostly men.
Yeah, I agree.
There are some
Okay,
fields
I
where
did say that.
women, yeah, but okay, I'm just saying.
But what I'm saying is, like, when it comes to like who's in power? Usually the person that's in power or the owner or the head honcho is what? A male. It is.
Mm.
So we're gonna act like it's not.
I didn't say anything.
I guess, yeah.
I don't think
because when I give my opposing view, I don't want you to think that I didn't give you every opportunity.
I already know that we don't see eye to eye on this topic.
We don't.
You and me have had this conversation about something else, and we were totally not on the same page.
Correct.
And that's fine.
Yeah, it's okay. I believe in the individual. I'm an individualist. And for those people who like DEI, you're more on the socialist side, which is nothing wrong with that. It means that you want to make sure that, everybody has the opportunity to do everything. I don't believe everybody can do everything.
I know everybody can't do everything. There's always someone that's better than you.
And I don't believe that you can give somebody opportunities that don't deserve it and expect for them
that's
to
true
operate
as well. You shouldn't. That's wasting time.
Right. And while some DEIs that happen are good, they were sought after because they were the top of their class, because they worked hard, and the DEI allowed funding for someone to fly out to where they were at in order to find them. Okay, that's cool, but that also could be called blind recruitment. I looked it up. Some middle ground between us before we throw it over to Alfonso. A middle ground solution could be a more balanced approach, like blind recruitment, where you implement a recruitment process that evaluates candidates based on their skills and qualifications first, and then consider diversity factors to ensure a diverse pool of candidates. What that means is, if Alfonso has the ability to do A, B, and C, I have the ability to do A. You have the ability to do A, B, and C. You two are the only two that's going to show up to get to the part where they get to see what you look like. Blind recruitment. Inclusive culture. You could foster an inclusive workplace culture where all employees feel valued and respected. And this can be achieved through training, mentorships, and programs and employee research groups. Don't just put people in charge because they're black and you expect to be having barbecues on Friday. Because
I don't think that's how that really works.
No. Okay. So there are some cases where if you want people to have a certain culture about them, you hire a certain person. You're not going to hire somebody who's been doing country all their life and take them to go to a R&B or a hip hop something and put them in charge of it and expect for it to stay hip hop. It's not going to stay hip hop. It's going to become some type of fusion of the two. And I feel like they're taking people's culture and DEIing them and mixing them in to create whatever color they want to do. They Bob Rossing us. But at the end of the day, I mean, it could be achieved better if we just went ahead and made it so that everybody actually felt comfortable instead of pretending like everybody felt comfortable. There, for every meme and every short video of a black person or a woman saying, "Hey, I got this job because of DEI," there is another video saying, "Even though I work here, I can't be me. I can't talk to you guys." And it's funny because you see a black woman and it'll be like, she don't say nothing, and her coworkers will be like, "Why don't you talk?" Because you can't understand my language. Because if I say something to you the wrong way, I'm gonna be that angry black woman. Well, what happened if we just actually had a space for her at the job to where she felt comfortable talking in this space? Just a thought. And then merit-based advancement. Ensure that promotions and advancements are based on individual performance and contributions, while also considering how diverse perspectives can enhance and lead team demographics and innovation. What does that look like? You got to be able to do the job that you're doing to get a better job. Ain't no more the good old boy program. Ain't no more none of that. That kills both of those, the good old boy program and the DEI. We just want the people that do the job. Because we've had a conversation about this too, haven't we? About how, unfortunately, there are people that are in front of other people who should not be in front of other people, but it is what it is.
But that's what I'm saying. So you can't really change it because, okay,
no, but they're in front of those
and
people.
You take it away, it's still that. Like,
no, they're in front of that person because of DEI. You shouldn't be over here, like Alfonso said. You shouldn't even be over here. You're holding space. But either way,
I don't know. I can't really get too much into this because
we finna end it. But I will say this: finding the middle ground can be difficult, and of course, we're not going to be getting through a DEI problem in 15 minutes or 5 minutes that we put on this podcast. But if you all have any suggestions, put it in the chat below, and we'll come back to it because this is something that we need to figure out. And unfortunately, the higher ups or the people who are supposed to do it right now are in fear of their own jobs. The DEI people can't focus on DEI because they're getting fired. And the people who are high enough to do something about it, the good old boy club don't want them doing nothing about it. So if you guys if you have a comment or something like that, put it in the chat. Okay. Last one that we got. And Alfonso, if you want to, you can just do that brief one, and then we'll do the one video about the guy.
Okay. All right.
Thank you guys
and then today,
appreciate you. 6 people in the building. Make sure to hit a like for the algorithm, and thank you guys for rocking with us and being anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate you.
All right. All right. We are going to be talking about ICE deportations have been ramping up in the U.S., leading to significant attention and controversy. And we are going to be talking about that, a little breakdown about that tonight. All right. Basically, a breakdown of it will be like, increased operations, a high number of arrests, targeting criminals on the, and are they really targeting criminals in all these deportations? Yes and no. Public reaction. People are, having positive and negative comments about this also. And for ICE deportations, you got ICE agents detain illegal immigrants in Houston and Galveston. Like I said, it's going on all over the U.S. You got Texas governor deploying additional soldiers to the border to help out. with security and everything.
Yeah,
So
it's
just
crazy.
yeah, and you got against ICE deportations. You got Houston immigrant communities on edge.
So we got a video for that we can play. For them being on edge. So let's go ahead and share that one. Great job, Alfonso. You the only person that didn't trip over any of their notes.
They are doing targeted enforcement.
ABC 13's Daniela Hurtado joins us live with what targeted enforcement means, Daniela.
Good evening. I spoke to an ICE official this afternoon, and he tells me that targeted enforcement is something routine that they do. Meantime, immigration attorneys across our area are trying to assure that the migrant community across our area are well informed that they have rights.
Right now, a lot of people are terrified. We're getting phone calls regarding orders of supervision.
Kim Bruno and her family have been doing immigration law in Houston for decades. As immigration enforcement continues across our area, she calls on people who don't have a legal status and may be in the process of getting their papers to always have their paperwork with them in case they get stopped. It's something Camilo Orto tells us he's already doing.
You might know what to do, but, you know, law enforcement, they make you scared and they make you forget everything. So by the meantime, when it happens, you don't know what to answer or you know what to do.
Law enforcement.
Let's ask a question real quick. So, what does that remind you of? There are no wrong answers. Just one.
That reminds me of back in the days of kind of like the Holocaust.
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
That's what it reminds me of.
What about you, Heather? Same?
Yeah.
Okay. So, make a long story short, Jewish population, they had to put a star on their clothes because it was the easiest way to identify that they were Jews. So, same thing as papers. When it got to the papers being too difficult to keep up with, they just get branded the star and keep it moving. So, this is where it gets kind of slippery for me because I don't want nobody living in fear, you know? Now, I don't know why they couldn't just easily have set up something ahead of time, like maybe a driver's license. Oh, wait, we already got those if you're a citizen. So I don't know, like, if you're in the middle of process, why they can't do a permit type license where you can just go to DMV and get it. That way, when the police or ICE officials be like, can I see your identification? You hand the card out. And it doesn't alienate the people and make them feel uncomfortable. Just like he said, it makes you nervous. Because some of us get nervous when they say, license and registration, please. And you can't even find the paperwork. You're like, oh my God. You end up handling the discount tire stuff. And they're like, sir, we don't care if you got new tires. We need. Like, oh, so if you can get nervous and you that, so just think about, if I don't have the right paperwork, they are literally going to pull me out of my car and I might get it figured out in 48 hours. But that's going to be the quickest. I ain't done nothing. And I'm where I'm supposed to be. Problems, right? So, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Let's keep going.
And agencies like representatives at the Liberty County Sheriff's Office tell ABC 13 they want people to know they are not going door-to-door knocking and checking people's immigration status. They say ICE is going after people with active warrants. Bruno says the Department of Justice and ICE are working together to expedite the removal of violent criminals who are here illegally.
That's a good segue to your other one, Alfonso.
Yep. I mean, that's what they say. They say they're targeting criminals. I mean, I hope they are. I mean,
but they're not though. They're like, they were on 45 and 59 today, like literally on the highway, pulling people over on the highway. Like, why?
And this
why?
Is in,
like,
this is in
people
Houston,
can't fucking drive home. Like,
yep.
The fuck? It's bad enough that 45 is like jam packed all the time. If you're going up north, at the end of the day, like it's always chaos. So why add more chaos and make more traffic? Like, that's unnecessary. If these are people who have warrants, then you should have addresses for them. You should be able to find them.
Can't argue with logic.
So, like, the math don't be mathing, and then, like, them going to schools and, like, trying to talk to kids because they think their parents are here without papers. Like, that's not cool.
No.
Kids shouldn't have to worry about that, you know, and I don't know. I don't really like how this is going. It doesn't look good. They're like showing up to jobs and just doing the most. Like, how you know someone that work here got warrants? You don't fucking know that. You just stopping. They stopping anywhere. It's just not cool.
Yep. Then you had the Texas teacher that said, "Oh, I encourage ICE agents to come to my classroom because the majority of her students were Spanish speaking and had to use like Google Translate to, I guess, to figure out the curriculum and all that stuff." But
wait, what?
It's like, damn. Yeah, it was in what was that, in Fort Worth, I think.
Oh, you mean to tell me that there's a teacher who the majority of hold on.
It was on news.
Wait.
It was. I think.
Breaking news: helicopter collides with a jet in Washington D.C. 60 people died. Let's check that out real quick, y'all. Thank you, Ru. Y'all go ahead.
That was
pull it up.
No, that was a thing too. So yeah, a teacher was in Fort Worth was encouraging ICE agents to go to their classroom.
That's crazy.
It's like, damn. Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, either way you look at it, this land was stolen. So it's like,
yeah.
And this immigration stuff goes way back.
But I mean, that even like infringes upon people who are actually citizens because you're not supposed to put like no type of roadblock up for like that. So it's just weird.
Mm-hmm. I think the first time this stuff like this has happened. This happened way back in the days too.
Yeah.
What's happened again? This is like it's a reoccurring thing.
Here we are. American airline plane and helicopter crash over Washington, D.C.
Dang.
All right. And then we also have some live breaking news about in the panoramic river. I don't know which one that we're supposed to be looking at. Let's go with this one, I guess. Hold on. All right, guys. So we're just going to check it out real quick. This was not a part of the situation, but we're going to check it out because this is y'all show too. So let's go.
All right, we want to get back to some breaking news we are following from our nation's capital. Right now, first responders on the scene of a plane crash in the Potomac River. The FAA confirming an American Airlines flight from Wichita, Kansas was trying to land at Reagan, Washington National Airport when it hit a Black Hawk helicopter around 9 o'clock tonight. It is not clear how many people were on board either aircraft. The National Transportation Safety Board is being brought in to investigate right alongside the FAA. All takeoffs and landings from the airport have been grounded until further notice.
All right.
Moments ago, our Byron Pitts spoke with an eyewitness. Obviously, we're going to be getting a lot of eyewitness testimony in, and we're going to be getting videos as well. Take a listen to what Byron was told.
Ari, this is Byron Pitts. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Tell me where you are, what you saw, please.
So I live in...
Wait, why is a Black Hawk helicopter in that area? That's a military area.
Oh,
what was it?
It's a army. It's a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter. It's basically like a front infantry type like fighting helicopter. You would think that they would be able to keep from hitting a plane.
Yeah, for real.
This is weird.
In Alexandria, Virginia, which is right immediately next to Washington National Airport. I live in the north part of Old Town, which is about as close as you can live in Alexandria to the airport. I'm maybe 2 miles away. So I was driving home from the city around 9 o'clock. That's a drive I do often. It's south along the George Washington Parkway. You go right by the airport. It's immediately next to the airport. I'm always paying attention to the planes landing when I drive home because it's just an interesting thing to look at. When you're on that drive, you're immediately lined up with the line of planes coming in to land. So you can see this long, it looks like a string of pearls. You can see 6 or 7 lights, especially at night, all neatly in a row, lined up to land, very evenly spaced. So I just always like looking at that when I'm driving home, and I'm always paying attention to it. So I was doing that tonight. I remember counting, I think it was 6 or 7 planes lined up to land. And I wasn't looking at the airport. I was looking south and just headed home. The airport was off to my left, out of my field of vision. But I looked at the planes and I saw that there was a big gap in front of the front one, that if they were evenly spaced, there should be one right out to my left. So I wondered if there was one there. I looked off to my left and I saw a plane right about to land. I looked at it. It looked normal. It was level. It looks like a small end of a passenger plane, not one of those little mini planes, but like maybe a regular sized jet on the smaller side. Everything looked fine. I just looked at it for a moment. I looked back at the roadway, and then I wanted to look again because it's just cool to see a plane land. So I looked back, and it was banked all the way to the right. I would say 90 degrees, possibly past 90 degrees. It was illuminated bright yellow underneath, and there was a spray of sparks on the underside of the plane, which I assume is why it was illuminated bright yellow. The reports I've seen say that it crashed into a helicopter. I did not see a helicopter. It's a very, very dark night here. There's no moon out, so anything that isn't directly lit, you're not going to see. So I just saw the plane, and I knew something was wrong because it was very, very close to the ground. It was maybe 80 or 100 feet above the ground, banked all the way to the right. I saw that for all of, this was maybe 2 seconds that I was looking at it. I looked back at the road, I looked back again, and it was gone. I didn't see any crash into the ground. I didn't see a fireball or an explosion or flames. There were no emergency vehicles. Everything looked normal. So I kept driving. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, all right. We're so grateful.
All right, so just to give y'all information that I just pulled up. A Midair collision between a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter and a PSA Airlines Bombardier, a CRJ700 regional jet near Ronald Reagan, Washington National Airport. Ronald Reagan, Washington National Airport. The crash occurred around 9 p.m. local time, resulting in both aircrafts ending up in the river. Emergency personnel, including fireboats and rescue teams, are actively working on the scene to search for survivors. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and officially end our podcast. We're going to give y'all our sign out, but we're not going to cut it off. We're just going to go with the live feed for a little while. So if you want to stick around and make sure that you keep an eye on that, I don't know if maybe you have loved ones that was around over there, but this is just kind of confusing to me, and I just want to stick around and see what's going on. So closing remarks, Heather.
Thank you guys for rocking with us for an hour and 30 minutes, or what may be like another 2 hours or so. Thank you guys for the support, and shout out to the 15 people we had watching us at one point during this live. We really appreciate it. Go ahead and like us on Instagram and engage with us so we can play the reactions you would like or discuss the topics that you guys would like to hear us discuss.
Alfonso.
All right. Just want to say thank you to everybody. And thank you for participating, sending comments, and your reaction videos and everything else. And like and subscribe to all of our pages, please.
All right.
67.
And guys, as always, at the end of the day, it's always you versus you. Do what you can to make the best out of your situation. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. It doesn't matter what people are talking about. Only thing that matters is what you do with your moment, with your life. This is your moment, your magic, the music. You never let it go. So do the best that you can. We love you guys. We'll be seeing you real soon. Go ahead and play this out. We are still going to be here because
And I hear the bing, 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 bing. You know what I mean?
all right, and we back. So, for my co-host, if y'all want to stick around, you can. You don't have to. If you want to hang around me, you can. Doesn't matter. But I'm just gonna try to keep up with this for a little while. So
7 people, 60 passengers on board that plane from Wichita, Kansas, 2 pilots, 2 flight attendants, and 3 people on board that Black Hawk helicopter. But again, we have not seen any movement here at this site near the Frederick Douglass Memorial Bridge.
We say that the plane originated in Wichita, Kansas, but we are reminded that many of the people on board this flight call this area home. So we are looking at an effort to save our neighbors, to save our community, to save our friends and loved ones. It's an all hands on deck operation, and we are all watching and hoping against hope that there will be some miracles that happen tonight coming from those frigid waters.
Yeah, and you think about that moment, I can't help but think about the 26-year-old Hamad's wife, who was there are 66 others like her. These are humans, folks who were just on this flight. As we've said before, you may have been here on a business trip, you may have been returning home, you may have been visiting relatives, who knows why, but those are a lot of folks that we're hoping will be able to return home in some capacity tonight. But we can rest assured, based on what we've been showing you, for more than 2.5 hours now, a lot of the first responders, the other folks, our other neighbors who are out there trying to save these folks from a number of jurisdictions. And there are plenty here in our region. I guess that is the bright spot of all of this. You have so many resources. The U.S. Coast Guard we see out there, DC Fire and EMS, Alexandria Police are also assisting right now, Prince George's County Police. So you have a lot of folks trying to rescue as many people as possible. And also, as Les mentioned, we saw this huge explosion in the sky. So they're going to have to find that debris as well to piece together what went wrong here.
What went wrong here? That's the question everyone has. But right now, the central focus is on getting to anyone who may have survived.
Yeah, we're going to work to get your mic taken care of there, Les. But, as you mentioned, the work is underway, this feverish effort to try and get this all taken care of. Not only were we looking at that huge explosion in the sky that so many of you have seen on social media after folks started getting calls, emergency responders at around 8:53 tonight, when that helicopter and that passenger jet out of Wichita, Kansas collided. But once it did, the other factor is what you're looking at right there. Yes, it is incredibly dark.
all right, a couple other things just to let you know what's going on. So the weather conditions, the water temperature right now in that river is about 36 degrees. That's cold. And the air temperature at the time of the crash was about 50 degrees with wind gusts at 25 to 30 miles per hour. Those frigid conditions are making the search and rescue efforts even more challenging than what it already would have been. All right. So some flight details. This jet was on approach to the Reagan Washington National Airport. It had departed from Wichita, Kansas, which they already said. And the response from the authorities right now, the NTSB, or the National Transportation Safety Board, is preparing to launch a team to investigate the crash. Maryland Governor Wes Moore has raised the state's Emergency Operations Center to enhance status. So that's the status that they've changed in support of the response efforts. All right. And again, it was a CRJ700 regional jet and a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter. So, I mean, Alfonso, what do you think? What are you thinking?
They're going to be investigating this for a while. I mean, they got to figure out where the Black Hawk came from, who was piloting the Black Hawk, who was on it. You know, why they were going the course that they were going. You know, it's like, yeah, it's a lot of questions. I'm pretty sure they got still.
Yeah. All right, we'll go some more. Oh, Heather, you there? Did you have anything you wanted to add to?
Y'all think people made it? That's cold ass weather. Like, I don't know.
I don't.
Like,
right? It's
like,
did
yeah,
somebody
like the with the winds being so high, because I'm not gonna lie, like, we work outside and it's been cold. Like, what, last week, the week before, and I was fucking freezing. So I just can't imagine people, like, the plane crashing, people in panic mode already, and then you drop into cold ass water. Like, that's wild. That's scary. I don't know. But where did the Hawk helicopter come from? Like, what were they doing?
I don't know.
I don't think they've said yet.
That's like
then they gotta figure out
crazy
if
for it to be like out, right?
Yeah.
So I've never really seen one like out
You
here.
never seen
It's
a-
like rare when you see like anything like government based out here.
Hmm.
It's like weird.
Well,
I don't know. Maybe it's normal out there, but
Well, I mean, in Texas, this is basically where everybody gets trained out here. So,
well, I mean, like, you see the truck sometimes, like, the army trucks. You'll see the army trucks sometimes or whatever.
Right.
I don't know what they're called, but you'll see those. But like to say like, oh, we just see like not in Houston.
So I have some more information. It's at the bottom, scrolling down at the bottom. So what I'll do is if I find more information, especially if we're letting the live play, I'll just put it down there at the bottom. But the PSA Airlines jet was piloted by Captain John Smith and First Officer Emily Johnson, and the U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter was piloted by Chief Warrant Officer Michael Davis and co-piloted by Chief Warrant Officer Sarah Thompson. So if you guys have any questions that you want to put into the chat for me to do some research on for you in real time, please feel free to do so. And yeah, we're just gonna. If my other two correspondents don't have nothing else, we'll just play some more. So, and y'all can mute your mics.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is making this effort much more complicated for these first responders to try and locate folks, but also the frigid waters. You've been outside today. You know how cold it is right now. We saw some of our crews out there as well, bundled up. But imagine what the folks who, you're in that water right now, and hypothermia starts to set in. Our chief, Todd Burchett, he told us these waters a moment ago, again, 42 degrees. So they're working against that clock to try and rescue those folks. This effort is underway to find those folks, but also to figure out what went wrong. That is going to be a conversation that we know is happening right now. A lot of folks want to know what caused these two to collide at just the right time of all times of the day. You have this flight taking off from Kansas, bringing perhaps some of our neighbors back home, took off there at 6:22 our time, was supposed to land at Reagan National Airport at shortly before 9 o'clock tonight. And coincidentally, you had this Black Hawk helicopter out of Fort Belvoir, Virginia. Joint Base Anacostia Bowling is right there next to the airport. It may have been trying to land there. It may have had another destination elsewhere in our region. But those two collided shortly before 9 o'clock, changing so many lives. Not just by those impacted, but just throughout our region. A lot of folks are just wondering what is going on here and what will be the end result. We've been telling you before, this issue we've talked about so often. We've been warned about the potential for this sort of issue. So it hurts even more to watch this play out because we've been covering these close calls at Reagan National Airport for years now. And after each one, we say, thank goodness this didn't end the way, it could have ended. Thankfully, the folks on that plane A, are okay. Thankfully.
Now, we'll also say that the U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter was conducting a routine training mission, which is what they always say, in the area when the collision occurred. And these training missions are essential, but it collided. And that's the official word that's coming out right now on that. So If Angie, you got anything? If not, I'm gonna let it play some more.
No, I don't have anything. Right, cool.
The folks on plane B are okay. And as they talked about adding more flights out of Reagan, we've also been reminded of just how delicate of an area this is, because yes, you do have a fully functioning airport there. Lots of folks landing in and out of Reagan National, or taking off, landing from Reagan National Airport all hours of the day. And you have a military base right across. So again, a delicate dance trying to make sure this all works out. At the time, we told you the big issue was air traffic controllers. There just weren't enough. So we are not sure if that was an issue here, but communication clearly went wrong somewhere, because considering our airspace and here in the United States, this is supposed to be, flying is supposed to be safe. We expect to take off, we expect to land safely, and that did not happen today. So we have to figure out what went wrong as the rescue efforts continue right there along the Potomac River. All right, we want to bring in our Eric Flack, who has more. I see, Eric, you're monitoring Flight Radar 24, so you have more on the flight path of this American Airlines jet.
Yeah, that's right, Zoe. We're trying to get as much information as we can from verified sources to make sure we bring you the most accurate information. This is a source called Flight Radar 24. It is verified, so we do know that the information we're about to bring you is accurate and true. Now, this, as you mentioned, is the flight path. Let's take it right there from that flight taking off from Wichita, coming straight across the country, across Louisville, straight down to Washington, D.C., where it was supposed to land just a couple hours ago. Here's a closer look at what happened as that American Airlines flight A5342 made its final descent into Reagan Washington National Airport. That's it right there. This comes from a service called ADSB. That's a service, they crowdsource receivers and pick up signals from aircraft, and they track their positions all across the country. So these are verified information of where this flight was descending, probably at about 1,600 feet per minute as it approached Washington Reagan National Airport. Now, there have been others, images I've seen online that are not verified, but this is the general area of where we believe the collision took place. And that chopper, that Black Hawk chopper, really came from the right side right there and then into the Potomac River. So again, this flight was coming from across the country, from the west there, just straight into Washington Reagan National Airport as it made its approach right there. It was that close, really, you know, just feet really from the runway before it was about to land, probably just seconds before it was about to land at the time of impact. And then we've seen those awful images of that fiery crash into the Potomac River and those two aircraft, we now believe both in the Potomac River. So we are continuing to get more information. One of the biggest questions is going to be how much communication there was right here between this American Airlines craft, that chopper, Black Hawk helicopter, and tower control, air traffic control at Washington National Airport. I've talked to a couple of different experts who say, and quite obviously, there has to be a ton of communication in normal circumstances that's going on between any sort of aircraft that are in the air, particularly, and air traffic control. We've talked about the near misses. There was no, it was nighttime, it was dark. So really the communication piece is all they have to go on to make sure tragedies like this don't in fact happen. Somehow that failed here, and we now know that it had tragic consequences. We're going to continue to stay on these images to try to learn more.
And just to let you know, just give you another update at the bottom ticker, I also have their flight paths. So the U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter, its flight path was from, and forgive me, conducting a routine training mission, as always, they say. It had departed from Fort Benvor, I believe, and it was flying in the vicinity of the Reagan National Airport when the collision occurred. And then as far as the PSA airline, the flight path was the regional jet departed from Wichita, Kansas, and was on its final approach to runway 33 at Reagan National Airport. when the collision occurred over the river. So that's the information that we have for right now. And let's go back to the report and the breaking news at WUSA 9 and see what they have.
Guys.
A lot to figure out here. Flack, thank you.
We want to bring in Greg Fife. He is a former NTSB senior air safety investigator. And Greg, we know you've been following this closely. You sadly have had quite a bit of experience on these kinds of investigations. What's happening right now in these hours right after this kind of tragedy occurs?
Well, besides, of course, what we see on TV with the search and rescue operation going on, investigators are really bringing the process of investigation together. The NTSB in conjunction with the FAA, and then parties that will be assigned by the NTSB to assist in the investigation, which will include the military. All of these people who are going to participate in the process are beginning not only to come together, but initial information is being collected or at least secured, because there is volatile evidence that can disappear, especially electronic and that kind of thing. So the process of investigation has already started, even though search and rescue is still going on. And video and trying to get a handle on at least some preliminary information, radio communications, radar data, that can start to give investigators at least an idea, a pathway for the investigation.
Yeah, and Greg, with that radio communication and flight data, how quickly should they have some idea of what may have gone wrong here? Are we talking just a couple of minutes, a couple of hours?
When you look at the investigative process, unfortunately, we live in a society of instant gratification. We want to know now. Mm-hmm. The problem is that while things are obvious as far as evidence and radio communication and radar data, you have to understand what the backstory is. What was going on? I mean, there's a lot of questions to be asked. This was a military training flight. So were they in constant communication? Of course, they were probably talking to the tower controllers at Reagan National Airport. They were given instruction. They lifted off or may have been transiting through the area. Were they on night vision goggles? Did that restrict their vision? So now you have the military side. The commercial side, you have this RJ who basically, I pulled some data, and it looks like they were already established on final, and we're at an altitude of about 400 feet above the ground when the collision occurred. So the question is, where did the helicopter strike the aircraft? Because from the video, it looks like the RJ is already established on final, and that the helicopter flew into most likely the back end of the aircraft, because it doesn't look like there was any kind of evasive action taken by either pilot.
Greg, could you tell, by looking at this video, I mean, obviously we don't know yet, but there are lots of questions. What do you see in that video that perhaps the layperson may not understand?
Well, again, because it is, a video shot from far away. If you look at the very bright light, that is presumably the RJ. When you're on approach coming into any airport, in this case, Washington National, you have all of your landing lights on. That's for visibility, especially at night. So when you look out, you know that, okay, there's an aircraft, rather than just trying to see the red and white position and the red, white, and green position lights. So you have the landing lights on. The brighter light is presumably the RJ. The smaller light moving from left to right, looks like a strobe, is presumably the Black Hawk helicopter. And you can see that there is no evasive action. It doesn't look like there's a change in position of the Black Hawk, and there definitely isn't a change in position of the regional jet. Now, there is some preliminary air traffic control chatter, radio communications that somebody has pulled down and sent to me that hasn't been validated, but it does sound like maybe the military aircraft pilots were told to pass behind the regional jet. If that is true, then the question is, how did they really misjudge their position relative to the regional jet. And were they wearing night vision goggles? What was their purpose and mission? Where were they looking? All of these are going to be questions that hopefully can get answers either from the flight data recorder and or the cockpit voice recorder on the regional jet, and then through air traffic control communications in general.
Hey, Greg, just a quick follow-up to what you just shared with us. Based on what we're seeing and what you just said, it does not sound like that the pilots of that regional jet had a lot of time to react.
And again, that's why after all of the search and rescue activities are done and victim recovery is conducted, the next step is wreckage recovery and trying to understand collision angles. How did each aircraft, what position they were in at the time of the collision? If the helicopter hit from about midpoint aft of the regional jet, there's no way that the pilots of the regional jet would have ever seen them.
Now, let's get into something very quickly. I want to explain night vision really quickly. So the advantages of night vision goggles is that you will have the ability to see objects in the dark that are not visible to the naked eye, increasing the situational awareness and improving the flight capability. It's also supposed to have improved safety as well. So this safety is by providing a brighter scene. Night vision goggles help pilots detect obstacles and terrain features, which can enhance the safety during the night operations. Now, here's the issue. The limitations are visual perception. So night vision goggles can sometimes provide misleading visual information, which can affect the pilot's ability to accurately perceive distance and identify objects. In other words, they might see it, but they might not be able to know how close it is. Depth perception. All right.
So then they're not safe to use. Why would they be using them then? At least not actively where there's an airport and there's other planes coming in. You see what I'm saying?
And that's
dangerous.
But that's the issue. We don't know if they were wearing night vision goggles or not. We don't know if this was like an automatic setting or something that they could adjust, or if it was something that they had to take on, take off, or switch on, switch off. Because another limitation of night vision goggles is overflying. Pilots use night vision goggles might overestimate their ability to see and react to obstacles, leading to overflying the aircraft. And it can be dangerous, especially in complex environments like an airport. So it means that they're pushing their ability, all right, because they are overestimating what they see. And then you also get a reduced field of view on top of visual perception. They typically only have a 40-degree circular field of view, like a human binocular field of vision or something of that nature. It feels like the pilots are looking through a soda straw, potentially missing important visual clues. Again, in a high traffic area, that's not good. Now, if you're flying somewhere with a lot of terrain and you're going a certain way and there's no traffic in the air with you, it's probably a good thing to have. But I agree with you, Heather, as well. If they were in a populated area, did they have it on? Because it might have something to do with this whole situation. Did you have anything else you wanted to add before we go back to the live coverage?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
No problem.
Would have never known anything was about to happen until it did. One of the questions, of course, is, well, there's traffic collision avoidance systems on aircraft. That is true for all commercial aircraft, jets, light jets, even general aviation airplanes to an extent. The military doesn't necessarily have that type of equipment on their aircraft because they have a different mission. So the question that I would ask as an investigator of the military is, what are your procedures, especially operating in an environment where we have high-density traffic flow? you're mixing commercial and civilian operations, civilian and military operations in this corridor. I grew up here in Maryland, so I'm very familiar with the area. I've lived there most of my life. I've seen these operations. I've flown down the Potomac River. It is busy, and you're constantly listening for other aircraft on frequency to see where they are and where they're going. Just because it's all about this term that we use in aviation called situational awareness. I want to know who's in my environment. The question is, was there that kind of communication, interaction between military and civilian? And then, of course, where were the controllers? Because the controllers do have a collision avoidance system. What's their responsibility for monitoring traffic in that vicinity, given the fact that we have a mix of military and civilian?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that earlier, Greg. Why would this military aircraft have been going through such a busy airspace? Obviously, we know that the Joint Base Anacostia Bowling is near the airport, but considering the traffic here, this seems like a recipe for disaster.
Well, when you look at the altitude, typically there are low-level altitude blocks for, in this case, helicopter operations, because you don't expect to have any kind of civilian aircraft, especially going into Reagan National, being, at 200 feet or 100 feet above the water like a helicopter can fly. And we know every day that the military, in some way, shape, or form, are running patrols up and down the river. Police helicopters fly low level, but the flight corridors, the approach paths for all of the runways there are typically higher, 400, 500, 600 feet. These guys were less than a mile. They were, from at least the crude data that I've been able to pull down where these aircraft struck, it's about 4,500 feet horizontally from the end of runway 33. So less than a mile. So, of course, the regional jet's going to be low because they're approaching the runway, and it looks like the helicopter was level in its flight path as it collided. So all of these things, and we've operated like that for a very long time in that area. Yes, there have been some near midair reports and that kind of thing, but for the most part, it's a very structured airspace. The question is, was everybody doing the things they needed to do for operating in that airspace at the time?
Greg, you hear me? This is Topper, meteorologist Topper Shutt. A question now, and this is something that I'm just throwing out to you. Is it possible that the helicopter was below the radar and that's why the avoidance system didn't work?
Well, Topper, the big thing here is, civilian aircraft have a transponder. That transponder puts out a discrete code or a generic code. If you're general aviation, it all depends on the type of flight operation and your contact with air traffic control. In this case, the CRJ would have been on a very discrete transponder code. That code is an electronic signal. The air traffic controller picks it up on radar, and that particular code has a data tag to it. So it identifies, in this case, it would identify the aircraft flight number.
So just to let you know, all that extra background noise that you heard, people talking in the background, that wasn't us. That's actually whatever's going on there. They are doing this live. So I just want to give you a quick recap of everything that has happened so far. This is TBH. It's your boy JYG, and we are going to go to recap of the events so far. So there was a collision today with a CRJ700 regional jet. It collided mid-air with a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter while on an approach to the Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport. The collision occurred around 9 p.m. local time, resulting in both of the aircraft ending up in the river. Okay. So the jet was carrying approximately 30 passengers and 4 crew members, while the Black Hawk helicopter had 3 Army soldiers on board. The regional jet had departed from Wichita Dwight D. Eisenhower National Airport in Kansas and was on its final approach to runway 33 at Reagan National Airport. The Black Hawk helicopter was conducting a routine training mission and had departed from Fort Belvoir, Virginia. The search and rescue operations, the emergency personnel, including the fireboats and the rescue teams, were immediately dispatched to the scene to search for survivors. The cold water temperatures and challenging conditions made it hard for the rescue efforts and made it even more difficult than what it already was going to be. And as for now, there's been no confirmed reports of any survivors. The river was approximately 36 degrees. That is freezing cold. And the air temperature at the time of the crash was 50 degrees with wind gusts 25 to 30 miles per hour. These frigid conditions added to the challenges on top of all of that. Now, the authorities right now, the NTSB, or the National Transport Safety Board, is preparing to launch a team to investigate the crash. Maryland Governor Wes Moore has raised the state's emergency operating center to enhance status in support of the response efforts. And the Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport halted all takeoffs and landings following the crash. And the incident has caused significant disruptions to the air travel in the area. So just to let you know, not only is it affecting things that we thought it would, traffic in that area due to the emergency response, but also things that we might have not been thinking about, which was the airport itself needing to be shut down as well. So we also happen to have the names of the pilots. And let me pull that up. Let's see. 1 second. I think I already had it on a ticker at the bottom here. Let me check right here. Yes. The PSA Airline, the CRJ700 regional jet was piloted by Captain John Smith and First Officer Emily Johnson. The U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter was piloted by Chief Warrant Officer Michael Davis and co-piloted by Chief Warrant Officer Sarah Thompson. Now, we don't have any names for the people that were on board, nor do we have the name of those three Army men that were there as well. So it is it's heavy. It's something that we didn't want to happen. As you heard on the live report, it's been a lot of near misses, but this one by far is like the worst timing it could be. It happened at around 9, so it was getting dark, already dark, and it was cold, and it's just getting colder. So thoughts and prayers, and we're going to continue to see what the coverage has, and we'll go from there. So thank you for rocking with us and getting your information with us, and also shout out to our chat member who made this possible, Miss Ruth. So thank you very much. We appreciate you. As we already said, and we'll continue to say, this channel is not just ours, it's yours. So we actually stopped everything we were doing, looked it up, and now we are going to do continuous. And any more information that I can glean, I'll pop back in and I will give that to you. So thank you for watching with us, and let's continue to go live with it.
Was the flaw? What didn't work this night at that time? And I know for the families, it is agonizing. Of course, the search and rescue process is cumbersome, especially at night. You can only put divers in the water in certain areas under certain conditions. You don't know what's under there. They're going to be the aircraft or both aircraft are underwater. There are traps. There are hazards that they can't really navigate at night. That slows the process down. And it is a painful experience, even for investigators, because, again, it's my job to try and figure out what happened with a team and then at least, provide some level of comfort that here are the facts and this is what we know happened. Unfortunately, we can't bring your loved one back, but through the process, we're going to make it safer to fly tomorrow. And while that doesn't provide a lot of solace to the families of the victims, the process does work. And if you look at the history of the NTSB and early days of CAB, where the accident investigation process really started, you see how we've improved aviation safety over the years. And, you know, when you look back at the last major accident, we lost, a A300 Airbus in New York in 2001, November of 2001. We had 2 regional aircraft go down in 2006 and 2009. But we haven't had a major accident in these United States where we've had a major loss, hull loss is what it's termed as, and a large catastrophic loss of life. We've got a very safe system, and what we can do is improve on that safe system.
Yeah, and so sad it takes these moments like we're seeing right here before we make any drastic improvements. As you mentioned there, Greg, we've been warned about the dangers here, the airspace around Reagan National for quite some time. Thank you so much for your time tonight. Former NTSB Senior Air Safety Investigator Greg Fife, thank you so much for being with us.
I appreciate his experience and his humanity as well. We want to go back to our colleague Larry Miller, who is at Reagan National Airport, who had really one of the toughest conversations, he said, of his career, speaking with the husband who worries so deeply about the fate of his wife. She was on that plane coming from Wichita here to D.C. Larry?
And he told me that they'd only been married 2.5 years, that he is hopeful and praying that she will be okay. But certainly his mind right now, his thoughts going to a dark place. He and some other families that we know that are starting to make their way to the airport have now gone into a restricted area now just behind me where the police are, where they're getting information from the airline about the fate of their loved ones. We've seen now several families make their way down to this area, and moments ago we just saw DC Mayor Muriel Bowser. We tried to ask her a couple of questions, but she wasn't taking any questions this evening, understandably given the circumstances. Still trying to get a hold on the situation, but most importantly trying to comfort these families that in some cases potentially are getting some devastating news about their loved one. We spoke with one man whose 26-year-old wife was aboard that plane. I asked the question about, had he talked with her, had he communicated with her today? In fact, he did. He got a text message from her 20 minutes before the flight was set to land. Here's what he had to say.
I'm just praying that somebody's pulling her out of the river right now as we speak. That's all I can pray for. I'm just praying to God.
When was the last time you spoke with her?
She texted me that they were landing in 20 minutes.
Can you show us a text message that you got from her?
Landing in 20 minutes. The rest of my text did not get delivered. That's when I realized something might be up.
He told us that his wife had a fear of flying and had for some time, that she went to Wichita, Kansas.
Man, that is, I don't even know how to even put that in words. I mean, we see this stuff happen, but I've never seen someone actually sold the text messages of someone, their wife, on a plane, and pretty much saying, "Hey, I'll be there very soon." And now he's just hoping beyond hope that she is found and that she's well. And prayers go out to him, because that is a difficult situation to be in. I mean, there's really nothing that I can say to even make it make sense. I mean, you could see the shock, like, look on his face, like the disbelief. So, man, it's crazy. So let's just go ahead and go a little bit past that. I don't know about you guys, but I don't really have a very strong constitution. We're a little bit behind on the live because I paused it to give you guys updates. So that's how we're able to go forward. But we're just going to march through it together. So let's keep going. Thank you for staying with me tonight as we go over this.
Bill Bowser is going to speak at Reagan National Airport at 12:30 a.m. This is where that press conference will be. Obviously, everybody is responding as quickly as they can. And so we expect to hear from the mayor, hear what she knows, hear what she can confirm. And we'll go to her at 12:30 and whoever is gathered for that press conference when it becomes available.
Now, what we can tell you right now, what we do know at this hour is that shortly after 6 o'clock tonight, Eastern time, that airplane, that passenger jet from Wichita, Kansas, American Airlines Flight 5342 took off, bound for D.C. A straight flight was set to land shortly before 9 o'clock, but instead it collided with a Black Hawk helicopter out of Fort Belvoir, Virginia at the time. 3 passengers on board the Black Hawk helicopter, 60 passengers on board that passenger jet, along with 4 crew members.
Yeah, so it was at capacity. At one point we wondered if this was a full flight. We know it was a full flight. It was at max capacity. In fact, what did you say,
Close
Topper?
to, it could hold 78 people.
Oh, it could hold 78?
It can hold 78 depending on the configuration of the seat. So it was pretty darn full, but
Yeah.
not, I guess, technically full.
Yeah, and that's what we were hoping initially before we knew that this regional jet, it seems, held, a fair number of people, and we were just hoping that this was just that one flight that perhaps wasn't fully booked. But we've learned that at least, again, 64 people were on board that flight, including the pilots and the flight attendants and 3 crew members or 3 folks on board that Black Hawk helicopter out of Fort Belvoir, Virginia, went down right here near Reagan National Airport near runway 33 shortly before 9 o'clock tonight. A lot of you seeing the images on social media, a lot of you talking about it, that fireball, that midair collision. A lot of folks wondering what went wrong, and you're just hoping for the best after you see something like that, even though it does not look good.
We know that helicopter was on some sort of training flight, and we are awaiting information about what that entailed and what happened. You see all these lights over here? This is in that area where runway 33 is. That is the runway where this American Eagle flight was expected to land some 20 minutes before Hamid Gaza got that last text from his wife that she was 20 minutes away, and sadly, there was nothing to come after that. There is a frantic effort right now, and reality is also setting in for us as we look at 3 hours plus now since this catastrophe in the sky unfolded, with 60 passengers on that flight, 4 crew, 3 on this Black Hawk helicopter, which was on a training mission, and a huge effort from all across the area. We've been talking about the wind, the water, the current. This is really, really tough for the divers and the crews that have to go in for a certain amount of time and come back out, all in hopes of trying to find anybody who might have survived, or at the very least, to get some answers for families who want to know about the health and safety of their loved ones.
Yeah, at least with air flight Florida, we had daylight. And, it just hit the bridge, nothing collided with it. So, yeah, you mentioned a very good point about current, because the Potomac River has currents like.
And I just want to briefly go over one more time just one of the concerns that they were having when they were covering it, and that was, were the night vision goggles actually being used? Now, night vision goggles, commonly referred to as NVGs, what they do is, the advantages of it is that you have, well, hold on, we'll come right back. Hold on.
Way, but then they're going to make a little turn as they get to the airport. Now, there's Joint Base right there, very close to the airport. And here we go. We'll kind of fly in here. So this is their approach, okay? We're looking out, northwest. That's runway 330, and that is the runway that they just never quite made to, but they're on their approach. And, we were talking to the expert there. They were on final approach. I mean, probably only between maybe 1,000 and 3,000 feet from landing and descending very, very quickly. But that's the runway they were trying to hit, and we think that the disaster area is kind of out in this area off to the south and east of it. But good point, though, Leslie, about the currents. Currents are very, very strong, and also the water temperature is still 42, so you only have about 30 to 90 minutes unless you're in a wetsuit, and we've not heard of anyone being pulled out yet. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened.
Hey, Topper, can we interject just a little bit, because we are and we're all on this journey together, learning this information in real time. And so what we've just learned is that police are saying there are 3 debris fields, and there have been at least 18 bodies recovered at this point. So
no survivors.
No survivors found just yet.
But 18 people.
18 people.
Yeah.
18 souls.
And again, we know that at least they were trying to find at least 67 people. 64 people on the plane, 3 folks on board that Black Hawk helicopter.
And with 3 debris fields.
3 debris fields.
And we talked about how far this all scattered. That is a massive, massive area for them to try to work and find these loved ones of people who are waiting right now for any piece of information about their loved ones. This reminds us, this is our community. Yeah. These are our neighbors. These are our friends. These are our colleagues, and a lot of people are hurting tonight into this early morning. A lot of hearts are broken. A lot of dreams came down with that plane tonight.
Yeah.
And we cannot forget the humanity here. And then all these first responders who have been in the water and in the trenches, getting into that murky water. It's very deep. It's not easy terrain, as Topper has told us, and as we well know from being in this area. This is not an easy task, and it is also dark, right? So that is also working against them as well, but they are working very, very hard at this early morning hour at 12:08.
Yeah, we heard from that former TSB investigator a short time ago, Greg Feith, and he mentioned that, these conditions here for divers just are not safe.
Right.
So you look at this and you assume that these divers can just jump in and rescue folks, but they're putting their lives on the line as well by jumping into those waters. So they have to make sure they're protected before they do anything else. But they have been out there since about 9 o'clock tonight. Yeah. So you're talking about more than 3 hours now, trying to rescue, trying to find as many people as possible. But again, the update that we are getting at 12:09 a.m. is that there are 3 debris fields here, and they've recovered at least 18 bodies. And you just have to let that sink in for a minute. 18 lives that are gone because of what we saw earlier tonight, the plane colliding midair with a military helicopter.
18 families and extended communities with very large holes in their heart tonight that cannot be filled.
And then you hear from some of the other folks who are waiting.
Yeah.
And you hear that news, and it's grim, because despite what we saw, you still have some hope that maybe, someone survived. Maybe there's someone there along the banks of the river. But then you hear the news like this debris field and 18 bodies, and,
reality.
It's a shock. Yeah,
reality is sinking in, and reality surely has been sinking in for the first responders who have been doing this work for 3 hours plus now, trying to find survivors, recovering bodies. We showed you the area where our colleague Leslie Moreno is, where they are staging all of those ambulances. They're essentially buses that were expected to transport survivors to the hospital. We've not seen any survivors, so and no survivors have been identified just yet.
Yeah, you look at this scene right here, and we
Sorry, I didn't know that I was muted. So I'll say it again for you. We have 3 different fields of debris, and one is the river, of course. The river bank is the second, and the third is the surrounding areas. So, I mean, while we don't like this type of information, we are we're happy they're starting to come to a conclusion. Now, just like you said, just like they said, 18 bodies have been recovered. That's not information that you want to hear, but it's been submerged for over 3 hours. So at this point, I think the most important thing is making sure that we ensure that if there are survivors at this point, like maybe, and I don't want to put any false hope out, but if there are, we want to make sure that we account for all personnel so that we can just make sure, and so that we can get that person home. We can get that body to the families. So let's keep going. Let's see what they got to say. We'll get as far as we can. There we go.
To make sure they got to their destination.
As soon as that boat was pulling up, we did also see the ambulance backing up. So it is possible that some of those victims, those survivors, were brought here. Again, we're across the street, so it's very hard to tell.
Air support area near the Frederick Douglass Memorial that we've been showing you families right now in our region. Again, some of them, we may be affected and not even know it yet because we don't know who was on board that flight. At least 64 people.
Like this
including the crew. They were on their way home. This was a DC-based crew flying that plane and serving those people on the plane to make sure they got to their destination safely, like they've done many, many times before.
Yeah, and also the crew from Fort Belvoir, Virginia, training to protect this country. Mission. And this happens. All right, we want to go to our Leslie Moreno now, who's near that DC Police Department air support area near the Frederick Douglass Memorial Bridge. And Leslie, we've been looking for any activity there tonight. Hopefully some folks have been rescued. But what are you seeing?
Yeah, we've been keeping a close eye on things here, any sort of movement. If you zoom into my right here, about maybe 15-20 minutes ago, we did see a boat pull up on the water here with some sort of tarp covering. As soon as that boat was pulling up, we did also see the ambulance backing up. So it is possible that some of those victims, those survivors, were brought here. Again, we're across the street, so it's very hard to tell. We're zooming in, and we're keeping a close eye on things here as close as we can. But yeah, crews are out here. This is on South Capitol, again, as you mentioned, at the Aviation and Boat Support Headquarters. Very quiet right now, very calm. EMS, fire, and as you saw earlier, that mass casualty ambulance is also here. That white bus, if you're able to zoom in, Hash there. Normally we see these buses during mass casualties. They're used when there's a large number of people that have to be transported to the hospital. It's also important to know that any of the crews, any of the divers, the search teams, if they're injured, they would be brought here as well. As you can see, a large portion of South Capitol here, this very busy roundabout, is blocked off, the sidewalk, as crews are set up here. We've just been stationed here across the street, trying to keep an eye out for any of those victims, any sort of movement. Again, that boat that pulled up maybe 20 minutes ago with that tarp covering, with the ambulance as well. We haven't seen that ambulance leave the site here. But again, a possibility that some of those victims, those victims were on that boat that we saw earlier.
All of this. Outside of this vast debris field is this area that was set up with these empty Metro buses with police stationed nearby. in the hopes that they could fill these buses and take people to be cared for or to care for them there. And there's been none.
And you have to think about what these first responders are going through tonight. Yes, they train extensively for these moments, just hoping it does not happen.
But they're human too.
They are human too. So you have a night like this, and I can't help but think of what the news we told you moments ago. You see this disaster, and like us, you respond to the scene and you hope for the best, but then you see these debris fields, and then you recover 18 bodies, after something like this, and that has to be a moment for them.
And they know better than we will ever know what this is like. They know how long this is going. They know about the human body. They know about the capacity to survive something like this in a way that we don't know. And so for them to not be able to have this happen, they're not able to go and save anybody that's alive right now. That has to be really, really hard for them as well.
And we talk about the agony for family members, but in these situations, because we're talking about something that's in the water, that is what, Topper, 42 degrees right now?
Air temperature mid-40s, but it's the water temperature.
Air temperature mid-40s, the water temperature is about 42 degrees. And you're talking about what's the temp?
Yeah, the water temperature is what's going to get them.
Yeah, that's what here Topper there, our meteorologist, saying that's what's going to get them. Also the hazardous conditions. So not everyone can respond like they want because of the nature of what they're dealing with here. A plane that went down in the water. So
yeah, I'm thinking about a lot of these families that may be still awaiting any information, and if you are one of them and you happen to be listening to us right now and you're looking for information, there is a helpline that we've heard about that is set up through American Airlines, and happy to pass this information along to you. I hope it can be helpful. The number to call is 1-800-679-8215. It's 1-800-679-8215. Anything that helps provide some level of information for families that gives them something to hold on to, or just anything that helps them through this journey. We want to be able to provide that for our neighbors.
Yeah, it's going to be a long road ahead. Again, you heard when we had Simone here roughly 10 minutes ago, she mentioned that Reagan National Airport will be closed until 5 a.m. Friday. So it's going to be closed all day tomorrow. Again, reopening at 5 a.m. Friday. We know that flights in and out of Reagan were halted shortly before 9 o'clock tonight. We know that some flights trying to land in our area have instead been diverted to Dulles International Airport. WMATA's GM Randy Clark mentioned earlier tonight that they are assisting in this effort as well. So again, you talk about all hands on deck. A lot of folks involved here to take care of everyone impacted by this, from the victims, the folks who were on this plane, to folks who may have had their travel plans interrupted. There are warming buses there at the airport because, you have a lot of folks who this has been a day for them. This is a change. Silver Line trains, there have been additional trains added to the Silver Line as well to help folks get to and from the city.
So as we look at the time here at almost 12:24 a.m., we're reminded that we are getting close to the appointed time that we anticipate hearing from D.C. Mayor Bowser and other officials about what we do know, what we need to know, and what we may be bracing to know about what happened tonight. I think we've got the microphone set up, and we are just waiting for all of them to gather at National Airport. Again, just reminding people that this was supposed to be an ordinary night. A helicopter is on a training flight, and a plane full of folks coming from Wichita are supposed to either come home or come to visit or come for a business trip. And sadly, we are all gathered watching at this very...
All right, we're getting ready to very soon hear what the mayor has to say. So let's see if we can get there. We are a little behind, so maybe nope, but we're almost there. So just to let you guys know, just want to give you a brief of what's going on. We'll talk about the night vision goggles here in a second, but just wanted to let you know that they are recovering bodies now. At least 18 so far have been recovered. This crash happened at 9, and it is cold outside over there now in that river that you see. That river is about 36 degrees at the time of the crash, so that means it's only gotten colder. The aircraft, the jet, the commercial jet, it had about 60. Let's see what's going on here.
Emergency response efforts, and the American Airlines care team has been activated to assist our passengers and their families. We're cooperating fully with the National Transportation Safety Board in its investigation and will continue to provide all the information we can. Our cooperation is without pause, and we want to learn everything we can about today's events. That work will take time, but anything we can do now, we're doing. And right now, that means focusing on taking care of all passengers and crew involved, as well as their families.
American Airlines CEO Robert Isom, I think we're reminded that this was operated by American Airlines, but it was a regional jet, a Canadian regional jet that was actually carrying out the flight. And so you have lots of entities involved here, not just American Airlines. You've got the regional jet, obviously the military, because there's a Black Hawk helicopter involved here, and just the myriad of entities and people that are involved in this investigation.
Yeah, and for those of us in D.C., you may have heard it mentioned by Simone and Topper earlier, the crash brings back those painful memories from January 1982. That's when an Air Florida flight crashed into the 14th Street Bridge right over the Potomac River. It happened just moments after takeoff. 78 people died, but 5 survivors were pulled from the plane's wreckage in the frozen Potomac River you see right here. In that case, the crash was caused by insufficient de-icing.
And what we know is what these investigators find out changes the way aviation moves forward. And so what they learned from that flight has had a significant impact on how we fly today. Obviously, it's too early to know all of the variables around what happened here, but most certainly what we learn tragically from what happened here will also help to advance aviation, not just here in this country, but abroad. We are waiting right now for our first official update on the crash. And as soon as the officials are ready to bring us that information, we will certainly take you there. They'll be at Reagan National Airport, so we're keeping a close watch on the cameras there to see what is happening, to make sure that as soon as they start talking, we get you there.
But we showed you moments ago, you saw that fireboat there on the Potomac as well.
Now, I don't know 100%.
The search is still underway.
If this was the right guy, but they did say the CEO of American Airlines, that's who we were talking, who we were listening to a few moments ago, and that would be a Robert Islam. So he's been in that role since March 2022. So yeah, we're waiting for the mayor to come and say what the mayor's going to say. But I mean, they're doing the best that they can do right now, because you have to keep in mind that it's cold and these divers are going to be in pitch dark situations, and you want to make sure that you're not losing them to recover people. They're putting their lives on the line too. So it's just a lot of things, a lot of factors, prayers, thoughts to the families involved, to the rescuers' families as well, that they all get back safe. And I mean, it's not something that you see every day. This doesn't just happen like this every day. So let's go back to it and see what we got.
Be able to be transported to an area hospital for some kind of care.
Yeah, and we've seen this for most of the night, for hours now, not much movement. But these first responders, they were ready. When they got word of this crash, again, shortly before 9, We saw the helicopters in the skies. We saw the boats out in the water. And we saw them positioning there.
And before we saw that, we could hear on the scanners that something had gone very awry. And it was within moments of when that explosion happened that we could hear all of the scuttle and the frantic efforts to get there to do what we've been showing you for the past 3.5 hours or so as this frantic search continues.
Yeah, and this is a tough moment.
It's a tough moment
for so many folks. And again, as we told you a minute ago, this is the area that they're looking into right now is just so vast. Again, you have these 3 debris fields. You're talking about a passenger jet involved here, exploding midair after this collision with the helicopter. So they're trying to find the folks who may have been involved here. We know that at least 18 bodies have been recovered so far. Like you are at home, we are all waiting to hear about the rescues, the person they found in the water, the person who will be reunited with their family members. But sadly, that news has not come yet after more than 3.5 hours. Again, just 18 bodies have been recovered. And you have to think about those families who are sitting there waiting right now, wondering if perhaps it's their loved one. The agony right now, the heartbreak.
And hoping for a miracle in some cases too. Hoping for a miracle. So as you've been watching with us, we've been showing you various aspects and pictures of all of the activity that's happening now, that you put it all together and you can see that it comes together as this frantic search goes on. It's been going on for 3.5 hours now in really difficult conditions out in the water with a debris field that is spread into 3 different areas.
I just want to take the time to tell you about the night vision goggle situation they had. They talked about it for a little while, but basically the night vision goggles, they believe that there's a possibility that they're being used, but while they do have a lot of practical use in combat situations and they do have to learn how to use them, some of the limitations of that is the reduced field of view. It's almost like looking through binoculars. Some pilots feel like they're looking through a straw. Let's go back and see what they're talking about. Hold on.
Report, you have talked to family members who are desperate for any.
Okay, so they're going back and they're talking to the family. We're going to go to talk to we'll see what they're talking about over here too for the family.
Guys, and we've been seeing more family and friends of those that were involved in this crash make their way here to Reagan National. Since the last time we saw you, we saw 3 additional loved ones. One man who said that his son was on the plane, another man who said that his daughter's best friend was on that plane, and even a neighbor as well. So we're seeing that individuals who have been touched or who are familiar with those that were involved in this crash now make their way here. We believe that there potentially is another man and more family members that are making their way here right now as well. And to be honest with you, guys, this is tough because we're trying to make sure that we give you the latest information about what's going on, but we're also trying to be as sensitive as we possibly can to these families, to the families that we have spoken with that have given us.
That's foul. Like, I don't like that. I don't like the fact that they're like jamming cameras in these people's faces. Like, come on, bro. Like, let's not do that. You already know what it is. It ain't no point in asking them no questions. Like, that's foul, man. I don't like that. I don't. Because it's like, dude, you could have. Give them a break. Their lives are changing forever. And all y'all want to do is stick a camera in their face. It's crazy.
Area. This area is where family members have been directed to, where they are getting support and information about what happened to their loved ones tonight. Guys.
Chaplain has been called there to help give some support as well, some measure of comfort when you can't find the words to say. It's a very, very tough night.
Yeah, and this is probably one of the toughest jobs of the night. The folks who are gathering there, assembling and trying to give these folks the news. And we should point out, as we've been seeing, we've been monitoring the activity there in the Potomac River. It looks grim as time goes on. But we know that those crews are out there right now still conducting this search and rescue operation.
Yeah, we sure hope, Larry, that there might have been a moment of hope where there was some information that you could share or relay, that someone heard something that was encouraging. But I think reality is setting in for so many families as we think about the conditions and how long this has been going on. It's a sacred obligation to find those answers and a sacred mission to try to find the survivors in any way that they can, whether it's their bodies or if by some miracle someone did actually survive this tragedy.
You were going to say something, Larry?
Leslie and Lorenzo, guys, to your point, one of the things that we have been able to do, even from the gentleman that we spoke with, was that the limited information that we had at the time in which we spoke with him, we were able to give him that information, trying to connect him with staff and officials here that can provide some level of support and provide him information on the status of his wife, his 26-year-old wife, whom he told me was on that flight. So you're right, guys. This has no doubt been a difficult assignment. It has certainly been quite emotional for me, but I don't think about myself. I just try to support these families and be as respectful as I possibly can given the circumstances. But they want to make sure it is clear that we know who they are, what they meant to their loved ones, and what we should know about them moving forward.
And we should point out as well, for the first at least hour and a half of this, there was no information at all. We knew very little about what was happening. There was not a number for people to call to figure out what happened. So you think of these loved ones, you see what happened in the sky there, but everyone's piecing together, what flight was it? What happened? How did it happen?
And if you're like so many family members, you go, oh yeah, they're coming in from that location, but you don't necessarily always have the flight information in front of you. You just figure they're coming in, I'll hear from them.
Yeah,
and then this happens.
And then you want that information right now. So when you're sitting there waiting, that just doesn't help at all. All right, we want to get to our Eric Flack now, who is with us and has more on what we're learning about this flight and its path. Flack.
Hey, Zo. Hey, Les. I told you I'd try to get more information from this organization, Flight Radar 24. It's a global flight tracking service, one of the foremost of those services in the country with 1.1 million followers, a verified source of information on this. They actually track the flight data from that American Airlines Flight 5342, so it knows exactly on.
And we just want to give some more information. They had a discussion earlier about what was it? About the night vision goggles that they believe that the Black Hawk might have been utilizing. So the thing about that is that it works well in those training situations or in the situations where you need them. But when it's around other high traffic areas of flight, it can be an issue. And the type of issue that it can be is the reduced field of view. Basically, they have said it feels like looking through a straw because it's a small window. It's a 40-degree circular field of view. And overflying, pilots that use night vision goggles might overestimate their ability to see and react to obstacles, leading to overflying the aircraft. This can be dangerous, especially in complex environments like the one we just noticed, the actual airport. Not being able to gauge it, visual perception. The night vision goggles can sometimes provide misleading visual information, which can affect the pilot's ability to accurately perceive distances and identify objects. So we see where it may have played a factor, but I'm pretty sure with the base being so close to the airport and having this type of interaction happen over the years, that there's a high possibility that they cut them off before they got into that high traffic area. I don't think they would have been still running the simulation in such a well-lit area, one, and in such a high traffic area. too. So let's go back. And just to let you know, if you didn't know, they have recovered 18 bodies. There are 3 debris fields. So one of which is inside the actual river, and then you have the river bank, and then you have just the neighboring areas and parks. The U.S. Army Hawk helicopter pilots, Black Hawk helicopter pilots, were Chief Warrant Officer Michael Davis and Chief Warrant Officer Sarah Thompson, and the captains for the CRJ700 from Flight 342, Captain John Smith and First Officer Emily Johnson. Let's go and see what they're talking about over here. Thank you guys for rocking with me. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but you're here with me, and I appreciate you, and we're going to continue to cover
temperatures. I want to point out that we are on the banks of the Potomac, that's sort of just across from Reagan and across what has become this ever-spreading debris field. With also, in addition to, we've been kind of noticing the search helicopter above us, kind of looking along the actual banks now, doing searches across the Potomac. But let's give you an idea of what we're looking at right now, because this has been going on for several hours now, since about 9 o'clock. Okay, so across the way, just across the Potomac, and this is as close, by the way, as we're able to get. That's Reagan's runways right there, and you can see in the distance, you can see the flashing lights of the emergency vehicles there. Now, as we keep scanning to the right, that's where we're seeing the sort of the major ambulance response, especially the mass casualty ambulance response right there. And over the last hour or so, we've seen more and more police vehicles head in that direction. Like Lorenzo and I talked about earlier, if they're able to pull any survivors from the Potomac, they would take them right up to there, and that's a place where they have medical crews, staff, everyone on hand to try to assist with this. And remember, these are the things that for years and years we talk about planning and preparation for things like this. I mean, I can tell you myself, I've covered at least 3 or 4 training sessions for mass casualties, but to see it in action, it is quite a sight to behold. As we kind of scan to the right, just off, you see kind of the darkness in the river there, and there's a few flashing lights. That's where the plane crash was. But as this evening has gone on, and as the tide has moved, and the wind has gone, and the water continues to go, the debris field spreads. And that's why we see this helicopter that at one point was really only over the crash zone, with another one kind of scanning, has been coming up to as far as us across on the Virginia side of the Potomac. So that's sort of like how this whole debris field, this continues. It gets worse as it goes on, because it's harder and harder to kind of nail down where everything could be. As we keep scanning to the right, as best we can, I want to show you the final area. And you can see this kind of spans from, I would say, Buzzard Point all the way down to almost the Woodrow Wilson Bridge is how far they're scanning and looking. And off to the right, you see a whole another set of floodlights and emergency vehicles, crews, divers, medics, everyone kind of scanning over in that area as well. So we have a large area. They've been talking about the 3 different debris fields. Well, those debris fields continue to sort of, let's say, mushroom out and ripple out as the night goes on. And, from here, we're just seeing more efforts being drawn towards the actual shorelines now on both sides of the Potomac River. So that's what we're seeing. And again, this helicopter, if we can kind of give you a shot, it might be difficult because we're all on the flyer, but this is the helicopter that at one point was scanning simply over where we saw the crash zone. It's now come over to as far as us, searching the shorelines, and that's kind of where we're at in terms of what the search and rescue efforts look like. But again, just to recap, we've been going on this for, I want to say, almost 5 hours now of 4 hours now of search and rescue efforts here along the Potomac. You can see that there's still a very robust response over my shoulder of the emergency ambulances, the emergency crews, and the mass casualty ambulances. But at this point, it's become a search and rescue operation that has now expanded from, I would say, it looks like almost to the Woodrow Wilson Bridge up to Buzzard Point, and that's a lot of land to cover. That's a lot of water to cover, a lot of area to cover, and in some of the most frigid temperatures you could imagine between in the air and in the water. So that's sort of what we're seeing over here, just sort of south of Reagan Airport. Back to you guys.
Matt, thank you for that. So Zoe, as I tabulate what's happening now, there's so much occurring right now. We've got what's happening behind Matt and what Matt.
And we will be getting an update from the mayor soon, just to make sure we know what's going on. Make sure that you know what's going on. If you are trying to figure out if someone that you know is affected, we'll know all at the same time the information. So let's just continue to watch and keep eye on this developing story and move from there.
Continuous until all of the bodies or any survivors have been found.
And this has been underway for nearly four hours now. 4 hours of seeing these helicopters in the skies, looking for any survivors. You have the dive teams out in the water. You have folks on the fireboats as well, just sort of traversing the Potomac River, looking for any signs of survivors, and also additional debris fields as well, because as Aless mentioned, you have the NTSB GO team there on scene. They're going to have to collect as much as possible so they can try to piece all of this together in the coming days to figure out what went wrong. And they're asking the questions that a lot of you are asking at home, how something like this could have happened so close to an airport. This is supposed to be, we heard earlier that, landing is one of the hardest parts of the mission for these commercial flights. And then also for this Black Hawk helicopter, those trained pilots on their training mission at the time, this was a sensitive area. And then you have something like this.
What will be really interesting after we get past the most important part, the most sacred part, which is, of course, trying to find the bodies or the survivors that may be out there if a miracle happens, is what information will come out of this that will make aviation safer? What will we learn so that we don't have this happen again, so this is not repeated, so lives are saved? And that's what the NTSB, former NTSB investigator Greg Feith was talking about. Whenever these tragedies happen, there's something that comes out of them that we are able to apply to our American aviation system to make it even stronger and even safer. Something went very, very wrong tonight. Once they figure it out, they're going to probably move heaven and earth to ensure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, and we've seen so many warning signs. Again, we don't know exactly what went wrong here, but you talk about this area in particular, Buzzard Point or Joint Base Anacostia Bowling. Yeah, and you have the American Red Cross there outside of Reagan National Airport. We saw Larry Miller a moment ago. He said a lot of the loved ones, the relatives, family members of those who may have been on American Airlines Flight 5342 are arriving there at the airport, getting the support they need, also searching for answers as well. Again, like we were saying before, just trying to figure out at some point they're going to be asking how this happened. And we more than likely will see changes in this area because this has also been known as a trouble spot for so long. We've seen so many close calls in this area before. We've had these warnings with a lot of folks saying, this area isn't ripe for more air activity because of one, the airport, but also Joint Base Anacostia Bowling and the aircraft going in and out of there on a daily basis. And you saw this is what happened tonight.
And this helicopter wasn't even coming from Anacostia Bowling.
So
this is coming from Fort Belvoir.
Yeah, so you have this military training exercise they go through. I know a lot of you over the years talk about these low-flying helicopters going over your homes.
Yeah.
So more than likely you've seen this type of Black Hawk helicopter flying above your home. We know how low, this low altitude, how low they fly. And then you have this airplane coming in for landing at the time, so close to the runway, and those two collide.
And we're reminded that during times of crisis, we mobilize. We mobilize on behalf of our communities and we mobilize on behalf of the nation. And you can see Red Cross members, some of them probably likely volunteers who are part of their GO team too, that respond to these kinds of crises to be there for our fellow neighbors and communities in times of need.
And a reminder that people are involved. We're talking about the images we've seen. We have not seen the faces of those who were on the plane yet or in the helicopter, but we are about to get those answers right now. That press conference we have been awaiting is underway. You can see D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser there approaching the podium.
All right, here we go.
Right here. Down.
I'm Muriel Bowser. I'm the mayor of Washington, D.C. I'm at Reagan National Airport. I am joined by United States Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, United States Senator Jim Moran, Senator Roger Marshall, Jack Potter, the CEO of the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority. We are here to brief you on the very tragic events of this evening, where we know a passenger plane coming to the airport here collided with a military helicopter. Our fire department, DC Fire and EMS, supported by fire departments and police departments from across the Washington metropolitan region, are executing a rescue operation in the Potomac River. They are working diligently in very dark and cold conditions, cold water, to execute this rescue operation. We have had the opportunity to be briefed by American Airlines officials. I'm told that American Airlines leadership is on the way to Washington as well. And officials are in the airport talking to families now. We do have a 1-800 number where families should contact us, should contact American Airlines for more information, and we will be providing that information shortly. I am going to turn to a number of officials to provide as much information as we can this evening, and we expect to have more frequent briefings at daylight. So with that, I'm going to turn to Secretary Duffy.
Thank you, Mayor Bowser. I think for all of us, we want to extend our thoughts and prayers to those individuals who were impacted by the events tonight, their families. We know this is a very difficult time for all of them. I want to join the mayor and everyone here too, extending our thank you to the first responders who, again, in very difficult situations and environments, are out there searching and attempting to rescue. Tonight, I spoke with President Trump and his team in the Situation Room. I had a conversation with Secretary Pete Hegseth as well, and then with the Kansas delegation and the mayor and others in leadership, as well as Governor Youngkin from Virginia and Governor Kelly from Kansas. From the Department of Transportation and FAA's perspective, we are going to offer full support to those on the ground, to the mayor, but also to the NTSB, who is going to be conducting the investigation in this matter. We are going to provide all the support that's necessary. Mayor.
Thank you. So with that, I want to ask Chief John Donnelly from DC Fire and EMS to provide an update.
Good evening, everyone. I'm John Donnelly, Chief of DC Fire and EMS. This evening at 8:48, an alert was sounded, initiating a large regional response to a report of an aircraft crash on approach to the airport. This response includes first the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority's Fire Department, the District of Columbia Fire Department, the Metropolitan Police Department, and the U.S. Park Police to respond into the area and to sort that out. At 8:58, the first units arrived on the scene and found an aircraft in the water and began rescue operations. This incident has grown. There's currently about 300 responders working. We have boats from all throughout the region, police and fire boats. We have a mutual aid agreement in Washington, D.C., the National Capital Region Mutual Aid Agreement administered by the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments, and we're all operating under that. We're operating under a unified command. Everybody's together. So we also have requested state police helicopters from Maryland, and the Coast Guard helicopter is working. So this is a state and federal response as well. U.S. Coast Guard's got some boats in the water as well. So it's a highly complex operation. The conditions out there are extremely rough for the responders. It's cold. They're dealing with relatively windy conditions. Wind is hard out on the river, so they're out there working. We're doing everything we can to keep them safe, and with that, I'm going to turn it back to the mayor.
Thank you. In Chief Bonnet from MWA.
I'm Rick Bonnet, Fire Chief of MWA Fire and Rescue. Our unit, as Chief Donnelly already alluded to, at 2048, we received an alert from the FAA tower of an aircraft incident involving a commercial aircraft and a helicopter. Our units immediately responded and deployed 3 boats and immediately called for mutual aid resources. Again, as Chief Donnelly said, it's an active operation that's going to last many hours as we continue to work through recovery efforts and rescue operations. This will be ongoing for quite a while. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families and our communities, and we appreciate all DC's support to our agency and our federal partners.
So with that, I wanted to turn to the senators who are from Kansas who wanted to say a few words. First, Senator Moran, and then Senator Marshall.
Mayor, thank you, and Mr. Secretary, thank you, and to our first responders, thank you very much for all that's taking place here. I'm Jerry Moran. I'm a United States Senator from Kansas, and I chair the subcommittee in Commerce Committee on Aviation. So we have really a serious and sad circumstance that we want to be here to be helpful, and we're praying that our responders are safe and the folks who are on that flight are recovered. The circumstance I would describe is that I know that flight. I've flown it many times myself. I lobbied American Airlines to begin having a direct nonstop flight service to DCA. That flight has been in existence about a year. And it is certainly true that in Kansas and in Wichita in particular, we're going to know people who are on this flight, know their family members, know somebody. So this is a very personal circumstance as well as an official response. And again, we will do everything we can to make certain that we're supportive of the rescue efforts, and we'll do everything we can to make certain that our subcommittee and Congress is engaged in what needs to take place following the outcome of this evening and this month's kind of investigation. I've talked to NTSB, I've talked to the White House, I've talked to the Department of Defense, and I've talked to the CEO of American Airlines, and there is all of us pulling together for the best outcome possible. I'm honored to be here with my colleague, Senator Marshall, as we try to make certain that we care for those certainly back in Kansas that were on that flight. But it's a reminder that there are people here in Washington, D.C., in this region, in Virginia and Maryland, and many places else that fly to and from Kansas. And so we're rooting and supporting all those, regardless of where you're from. And Mayor, I appreciate the gathering here for us to try to provide information to those in Kansas and across your city. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you, Senator Moran and Mayor, Secretary. You know, when one person dies, it's a tragedy, but when many, many, many people die, it's an unbearable sorrow. It's a heartbreak beyond measure. And I know Senator Moran and I are here just to say we care. We wish that there was more we could do, but unfortunately there doesn't seem much at this time. I want the folks to back home to just know that we care, that we love them, and that this is a time when we'll have to join arms together and help each other out. We've been through things like this before, through tornadoes and floods and things, but it's really hard when you lose, you know, probably over 60 Kansans simultaneously. And I don't want to forget the pilots and the flight attendants, you know, do their job, and the military personnel we lost. You know, all those lives are so valuable, and it is such a tragedy that we lost them. You know, I think often in times like this, I try to find a scripture that, you know, is apropos, and this is from the book of Psalms. It says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Certainly we're crushed in spirit tonight. We mourn with the families who lost loved ones, and we truly are joining them in prayer and wrapping our arms around them in love and compassion. Thanks for everybody for coming out tonight, and thank you for your thoughts and your prayers.
So certainly I speak for the people of Washington, 700,000 of us who are extremely sorry for the families who are experiencing loss tonight. And so we want you to know that we will continue to work with American Airlines to share information as frequently as possible and make sure that we're getting accurate information out to the public. But my sorrow for all of the people and crew on the plane and our military personnel on the helicopter is very deep. I do want to turn to Jack Potter, who is the CEO of our Airports Authority, responsible for Reagan National Airport and Dulles International Airport, to talk to you about how the airport responded and what's going to happen next.
Good evening. As was said, I'm Jack Potter, President and CEO of the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority. Thank you all for being here tonight and under these very, very grim circumstances. First of all, I want to let you know that we're providing support to all the families who are involved. American Airlines has established a phone number for them to reach out. It's been published, but let me repeat it. It's 1-800-679-8215. So families of folks that were on the plane are asked to contact them. We did have folks who were at the airport to pick up loved ones, and so American has set up a center in their in their lounge at the north end of the airport, and we've directed the families there, and there are folks there counselors there to work with the families. We did have aircraft that were in the air. They were diverted to Dulles Airport. Some 19 aircraft. We had personnel, United and others had personnel. We want to thank WMATA for extending their hours on the Metro to make sure that those folks were accommodated. Right now, as was said earlier by the chief, we're in a rescue mode. We will continue in that rescue mode. I want to thank all of the mutual aid responders, all the counties, the district, folks from Maryland and Virginia. Everybody's on site doing the best they can, and numerous boats out in the water right now. NTSB is on site. I want to thank all of the folks behind me, the secretary, the mayor, the two senators for all of their support, and we're going to continue to work through the night. I do want to make an announcement. People are, concerned about what's going to happen in the morning. Reagan National Airport will be closed until 11 o'clock. That's when the first flights will take off. But we're going to continue to do our best and work through this situation over the course of the night, and we hope to have more news as it develops. But for right now, it's a very difficult situation out there with the cold. It's very dark, but there are numerous boats out there. There are dive teams out there. So again, we'll continue to work this situation, and I'll turn it back to the mayor. Thank you very much.
Thanks for that update. And you've heard that in the National Capital Region, the district, of course, is Washington, D.C. is at the center, but we are a close region. We have heard from the governors of Maryland and Virginia, the mayor of the city of Baltimore, all who have sent us personnel to help in the rescue operations. Last thing I'll note is just to our local viewership, and just please let our first responders do their work. Try to let our vehicles get to scenes and through scenes. We don't want anybody else to get hurt because of moving vehicles, okay? So we will be able to take a few questions. There's not a lot that we can say. We won't be able to say anything about an investigation. As you know, once Fire and EMS completes the rescue operation, then the investigation goes over to the National Transportation Safety Board. And I'm sure the Safety Board, NTSB, will provide information about when they will be briefing about an investigation. So we'll take a few. Yes?
Can you confirm that both aircraft are in the water, and perhaps Chief Donnelly can explain what's involved in conducting an operation like this in these conditions?
Yes, both aircraft are in the water. The focus now is rescuing people, and that's what all of our personnel are focused on. And Chief, I think he's given a pretty good description, but if there's anything else you want to add, Chief?
I would just say that the boats are out doing searches. We have divers on both aircraft, and they're searching the aircraft at this point.
Right. Yes.
Have any survivors been found, and how many bodies have been recovered?
All we can confirm tonight is the number of people on each aircraft, 64 people on the American Airlines plane and 3 people on the military helicopter. And we can't provide any more information about recovery efforts.
The 2 people have talked about lost loved ones, so how do you know that there might be people who have lost loved ones?
I didn't say I didn't know people had lost loved ones. I said we can't talk about any of the recovery efforts in specific tonight.
Yes. Secretary Duffy,
I'll call on who's next. Yes?
Thank you, Mayor Bowser. Will this affect operations at Dulles and BWI? Will the Potomac River traffic be closed to boats?
Yes. And so Jack has talked about, can you talk about Dulles? I'm not sure we can talk about BWI, but we can talk about Dulles.
There is no impact at BWI or at Dulles. As I said earlier, our airport here, Ronald Reagan National Airport, will be closed until 11 o'clock. Obviously, that will be fluid. We'll learn more, but we wanted to advise passengers who might be coming to the airport in the morning that we will be closed until at least 11 o'clock.
A question, Secretary Duffy. A question for Secretary Duffy.
Yeah, 1 second. You're next.
Hi, Mayor. Thank you so much. So, just other than the current situations, like we know the water is extremely cold and it's very dark outside. Although Senator is saying that there are numerous boats in the water, but what's the the biggest challenges for the rescue team? What best scenario we can expect in the coming few hours till morning?
So the challenges are access. The water that we're operating in is about 8 feet deep. There is wind, there is pieces of ice out there, so it's just dangerous and hard to work in, and because there's not a lot of lights, you're out there searching every square inch of space to see if you can find anybody. Divers are doing the same thing in the water. The water is dark, it is murky, and that is a very tough condition for them to dive in. The question about the river, we'll make that decision later. The Coast Guard's on scene, and I would expect that it's not a high use time in the river, and we should not expect to have commercial recreational traffic on the river tomorrow.
Okay, 3 questions. 1, 2, 3.
It's for Secretary Duffy. Have you been in touch with the air traffic controllers who were in the tower at the time of the crash?
I have not.
You have not. And second question, this is your first several hours in this position. What are your thoughts? What are you feeling right now?
My focus is on those who are impacted on this flight. And again, I've been the secretary for a little over a day, and the tragedy that we're going to deal with this recovery, I think is touching everyone's hearts, whether it's here in the greater DC area or in Kansas. And again, I think everyone here is thinking and praying for those who potentially have lost a loved one. And thank you.
Okay, your question?
Could any of you give us any sense about how an accident like this could have happened so close to the airport, right in the heart of DC? There have been reports that the DCA tower contacted the helicopter moments before the crash to ask if they had sight of the aircraft, and apparently the helicopter reported that it did have sight of an aircraft. Is it possible that it had the wrong aircraft in sight? Do you have any sense of what went wrong in those final moments?
I know that the National Transportation Safety Board in its investigation will be able to search on all of those questions. We wouldn't be able to talk about that tonight. Yes?
two points for Secretary Duffy. The first being you were talking about how you were in the Situation Room with the President and Pete Hegseth both being there. Can you tell us more about the President's initial reactions to this, as well as Pete Hegseth, that this was a military helicopter?
So I was not in the Situation Room. I did have a conversation with the Situation Room where the President was located, as well as with Secretary Hegseth. We were exchanging information. I would just note that not just the local team, but the federal team has performed very well in this crisis. I know the President is incredibly concerned about what's happened here today. I'm sure we'll continue to hear more from him, and I'll continue to consult with him and Secretary Hegseth.
When it comes to the resources that you would be able to provide on the federal level, do you feel like you're getting what you need?
Absolutely. The President has committed to this team and to the NTSB through the DOT that we will provide all resources necessary as we go through this recovery, but also the support from FAA and DOT as the NTSB investigates.
Mr. Secretary, do we know the condition of these aircraft? Are they whole? Are they split? Are they pieces?
Again, I don't think we can comment on that. Our focus is on getting the passengers and crew out of the water.
And just one more clarification, because earlier we got guidance that DCA was going to be shut down at least until Friday at 5 a.m. I just heard
11
now
a.m.
it's 11 a.m. tomorrow. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we can take a few more questions. A question here, and here.
Mayor Bowser, can you just confirm, has anybody been transported to the hospital?
Again, I can't say anything about the rescue operation right now. Who was next? Yes.
Yeah, Chief Donnelly, can you speak a little bit more about the unified command who leads this phase of the rescue and recovery? At what point do you then change phases? And can you describe to us the scene as best you can when first responders first arrived?
So I happened to be listening to the radio this evening when the call came out. I listened to the responders come in, and the initial response, they were very professional, trying to locate this. This is, if you can imagine, the river is a large black spot at night with no lights on it, except for a few buoy lights. So they were out there looking. The boats pretty quickly were able to locate one of the aircraft and get there. So that's what's going on right now. Everybody's working on that. We will reevaluate where we are with the rescue operation in the morning when we get a better sense of it, but we are still out there working, and we're going to continue that throughout the night.
Do you have a sense that there are survivors?
We don't know yet, but we're working.
Is any part of the search happening over land?
No, we're all in the water.
Yes. Oh, you got a question. Somebody didn't get a question. Hold on. Yes.
I just wanted to ask, do you have an estimate yet on how long the recovery efforts will take?
Chief.
So experiences like this we expect to continue our operations in the fire department for multiple days. And then I would expect the investigation goes longer than that.
Okay, you didn't get a question, and you were next, I think.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. My question is, do we have any plan to prevent future crash or future accident? Do we have any to reform the authority, the airport control, to calm those people who are flying in the next few days? And also, how long the rescue is gonna last? Are we gonna stop rescue after tomorrow 11 a.m.? The divers team, because they are still in the golden hours now.
No. I mean, I think you just heard the chief said we're going to be out there as long as it takes, and we're obviously trying to get to people as soon as possible, but we are going to recover our fellow citizens. Yes.
This is for the chief and Secretary Duffy. How do you balance the search and rescue operation with preserving the scene for the investigation that's now underway?
So, from the fire department's point of view, we are always going to put people first. But I don't think that I think our operations, because we have a unified command, we are all working together, and the NTSB is in contact with us, and we will work together to make sure that if there's crucial evidence that it's preserved. And that's something we do every day with our police department on crime scenes and things. So life comes first, and everything else is after that.
Okay, last question. Yeah.
Secretary Duffy, I just want to ask, I know it's early, but are there any immediate actions you think the FAA should take to prevent helicopters and commercial airplanes from getting too close to one another?
So obviously there'll be a review of what happened here tonight. And after the FAA studies what happened, we will take appropriate action if necessary to modify flight paths and permissions.
Do you have any more details about the helicopter mission with the Black Hawk? And Mayor Bowser, have you heard directly from President Trump?
I spoke with the President's National Security Advisor, and I have not talked to the President yet, and I do not know what the mission was. So let me close by saying again, thank you to the members of the press to help us get information out to the families. The American Airlines number is 800-679-8215. 800-679-8215. And I expect the airport will likely provide additional information in the morning. Thank you.
All right, well, you heard it. That's where we are. I don't really even know. They basically told us that they're going to keep trying. They're going to keep trying to figure out what's going on. I mean, I think that's all that we can do, honestly. It was interesting that at first they was like, we're going to close the airport all the way to Friday. And now we're hearing it's going to be open tomorrow at 11. So understand there's still business that got to get done. So what does that mean? That mean the people that's in the water right now that's rescuing, they got a long night ahead of them. But as the reporter said, they asked the question, these are the golden hours. So because they are the golden hours, this is the time that you want them to really search. If there is a sliver of hope that someone is alive, the more time you take to get to them, the less likely they'll be able to survive. I want to thank you guys again for rocking with us, with me. I've been your host for this last hour, but we've been with you guys for 3 hours, 21 minutes. So shout out to you all, our day ones, our new, and our true. We love you. Have a good night. It is 12:22 where I'm at. So gotta go to work in a couple of hours. But I wanted to make sure that we covered this. I appreciate you guys being here with us. And start time, Lord. Go to sleep. Yes, I'm going to go to sleep. We'll see you guys tomorrow with Slim. Just my opinion. And maybe I'll play some chess on Friday night. Maybe we'll have Friday night chess play. Anyway, see y'all.